And then I'm going to I'm gonna at least do the first half of the show on IG.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
because that's what we have the frame up looking for right now. So I would say it looks beautiful. I like it. It makes me happy.
so it's live on IG, YouTube, and X.
And X, yep.
Video.
Yep. Episode 26, live on the Kaspa Standard. Myself, Bishop at LOTKS.kas, and Juan at Juan G Ramos 888. We are at live on the Kaspa on X. We are streaming to you live, as you just heard, on X at live on the Kaspa Standard, at live on the Kaspa. We're on YouTube at live on the Kaspa Standard, and we're also now live on IG at live on the Kaspa Standard. We had to unfortunately step back from VVOR. We had streaming issues last week, and I reached out to the creators. They said that they're falling back until they can situate themselves to recreate VVOR in a new image, and I will just say more affordability. The rest is up to them to figure out. All respect to what they have going on. I told them the second you're ready, let us know. We will be here for you. We were there from the beginning, and we will keep it going. So as far as that goes, just a little programming note. Also, any new tags, make sure you check out the description. Inside our episode description, there are some sponsor links. We got Better Melts, getbettermelts.com, promo code LOTKS. Also, Kraken. If you guys haven't joined Kraken, look, this isn't a promo for Kraken, but when it comes to acquiring Kaspa, Juan and I both use Kraken. Right now, they're doing a $200 gift to each one of us. If you download the Kraken app, use our promo code in the description. If you deposit and trade $200 worth of fiat, that's up to you. You don't have to. Just saying. In this particular case, within 14 days, they'll give you $200 in Bitcoin, and this show will immediately transfer that into Kaspa and then put it into the LOTKS.kas wallet. So if you guys do choose to go that route, you haven't touched crypto before, you're looking to get Kaspa, go to the episode description, click on the Kraken invite code, $200 to each one of us. You guys can then become Kasmians and join Kasmap, kasmap.org, promo code Juan, promo code Bishop, doesn't matter either way. And all our other links are in the description as well. As stated, episode 26, live on the Kaspa Standard. Juan, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing beautifully, brother. Happy to be here. It looks pretty cool seeing my name as my tag now. Feels aligned. So yeah, that was a switch up that I I'm in flow, man. I'm whatever feels right in the day, I'm stepping into it. So I already had my name up as my name, right? And then just decided Friday morning to wake up, be like, yeah, it's time. This feels right. So I looked at it, and Juan G Ramos wasn't available, and Juan G Ramos 8 wasn't available, and Juan G Ramos 88 was available, but it didn't sit right. So I'm like 888. Yep, that's appropriate in the line. That feels right. So yeah, man, happy to be here. It's been rainy where I'm at. Used to being in sunshine most of the time. I actually went out and got a nice little chai, vanilla spice chai this morning. Rode the bike out there in the rain because I'm like, yeah, I usually go for a walk in the morning and get down there, but went and picked that up, man, and I'm here, ready to do this, man, ready to dive into the conversation and have a good time like we do every Monday, an occasional Tuesday, and even once on a Friday. So yeah.
And once on a Thursday.
Yeah, once on a Thursday. There we go. So Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday may eventually be out there. Who knows?
Why not? Vanilla ice or a vanilla spice chai. Did you do ice or hot?
Hot.
That kind of day.
I switch it up depending on what the day. It's been pretty hot, sunny most days. So when it's like that, I get it iced. When it's cold like it is today, I get it hot. So yeah.
There's sometimes a rare occasion, because we have a coffee shop that we like down the beach, and a rare occasion I'll get my Americano hot instead of iced, just because the vibe hits you. You know, it's like, you know what, if I'm sitting back and I want some energy but cool down, yeah, give me an iced Americano. But if I just want to feel some comfort, you know, give me the warm drink. Give me a warm
even when it's hot, even when it's like hot.
Yeah, because it's about how I feel, and I want to feel comforted. You know,
I would look over and be like, you know, or if I was hanging with you, I'd be like, man, not judging, but how do you do that?
Yeah, it's just
it's like,
all vibes, bro. All vibes.
yeah, it is. It's true. That's true.
But yeah, man. No, that's great. That's great. Yeah, it's been the weather's been kind of shitty up here too. Last week we hit 87 and 89 on back-to-back days, and these last 2 days have been 54 and 58. So it's definitely that's the spring in the northeast. That's pretty much how it goes. Right until like towards the end of May, and then it'll most likely be between 75 and 96 for the, you know, until September. So
there we go.
Yeah, so yeah, it's been rainy the last couple of days. But just misting, you know, no downpours yet. So it's just been Mother Nature doing her thing, you know.
That's it, man. That's it. It's cool. It's cool to have it feel, because typically in the morning it's a little bit chilly, and then it gets like, you know, I'm not used to that. I mean, in Miami it's just hot all the time. I don't know what it's like, or it's raining and then it gets really hot. So it's been nice wearing the sweater, you know, and experiencing So it's been beautiful, brother.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with hoodie weather.
No, it feels nice.
Yeah,
not gonna lie,
it feels
nice. For sure.
Yeah, honestly, that was half my Christmas presents. That's what I'm wearing now. Like we went again down the beach. We have an outlet, so we have a Nike outlet. So you end up getting dope shit for cheap. And one time I bought myself, because we don't do name brand stuff just because it's always more expensive and it's the same shit, right? And I bought myself some Jordan sweatpants and a Jordan hoodie, and they just last longer and feel so good. So for Christmas, my wife was like, I'm just going to get you all of that. I was like, done. That's all I need. I don't. So I'm ready. Anytime it's hoodie weather, I bring it out. I bring it out for sure. Just keep me comfortable. Give me a hug.
Yes, sir.
I'll probably gain 30 pounds just from not feeling my clothes on my body. You know what I mean? Because it's just be all baggy from being a sweaty. But
yeah,
you know, well, discipline. You have it. I don't. I'm getting there.
Yeah, I guess the switch up has been the discipline is definitely still there, because I find a lot of freedom within routine. So when there's routine, it's just, you know, the days go by is a lot smoother, we'll call it. You know, so, and I'm in action most of the day. My energy is definitely there. It's on point. You know, I had to work into getting, I call it like getting into work stamina. So that's like being on the phones, having conversations, you know, being in sales, going back and forth, like dealing with objection, all that. You know, there's an energy behind that, and you only have so much throughout the day. So I try to maximize it. It's not perfect, but I've definitely gotten, you know, I would say more days that I've won versus like they got away from me. So it's been great, man. And you know, I shared with you, the big thing is I'm cooking every single day, and I hadn't done that. I thought about this. It's like I've never really consistently cooked as long as I have, because I've been here about almost a month and a half, almost 2 months. I've never done it. Just I always had my meals prepped for me. Miami's a different vibe, bro. So being out here in Texas, in the suburbs, and in a house, and the community, it's been beautiful, man. My son's like, when can I come back? I'm like, soon enough, man. Soon enough.
It's beautiful.
So for his summer break, we're gonna spend some time here. We're gonna come back here. So yeah, man, this is probably gonna be home base for a minute. Yeah. So things are beautiful, brother. No doubt.
You definitely. I know you said it was either last episode, one before that you re-up down there, and so you feel like pretty anchored in to being able to take off. You know, because it was a money making vacation, but is this now?
It still is.
Or we're locked in?
It still is. It still is. It's just I'm approaching. That's one of the biggest. And again, I'm gonna give credit to the protocols and studying money and studying things the way I have over the past 2 years. So I really do believe that, you know, again, this is a very spiritual journey for me. Um, and the whole, I titled this episode "Bounded by Energy" because we had a conversation. Maybe we bring it up and bring in the audience in a little bit later to kind of get their opinion on it or their thoughts on it. Because Moose put together an article that, to me, it just like, holy shit! He gave words to what I feel like I experience and what most people don't get to, when it comes to looking at these protocols, right? Like what we see on the surface is price, it going up and down, the charts, which all to me, all of that is relevant. But in my journey and where I am in my life and just how I'm experiencing life, I'm very tuned in and very tapped into the energy that I'm vibing in moment to moment, like I'm very much there. And it's just like I just think that article was so great in terms of how he broke it down with where Kaspa is evolving, what Bitcoin originally started. I just think a lot of people don't go there, right? With depth. So bounded by energy, right? It's just that's everything. Our entire existence is that. And these money protocols or these information protocols speak to that. So yeah, I feel like, I've said it to my sister whose house I'm staying at. Like I'm like, I feel like I'm home. And you even said it to me. You said like the same dude that I was, in 888 Biscayne. And I feel it. I feel the same, I feel the same, like the same guy. And I've expanded. And I've been able to slow down even more is what I'm experiencing, so so even approaching the money making aspect of it, it's not from the same energy that I did, sales wise. I hadn't tried sales like I have been over the past couple months in more than 7 years. So before, when I built my business, I really outsourced things and was really good at creating systems and hiring the right people to work with me. And I even outsourced the sales. Like I was more kind of the visionary, putting the things together, and then I created the system. So I didn't really do a lot of heavy lifting. Like now, with this whole proof of work concept and going at things that way, I realize how important that is to me in order to like be in my sovereignty on a daily basis. So I'm not outsourcing things, and it's not that I'm like I'm just approaching. I'm building from the bottom. I'm building it from like the bottom up versus like thinking from a top down. So the mindset and the way I'm preserving and working with my flow and my energy is just completely different. So it's just like, doing what I do, I can do it from anywhere. But foundationally, the way I want to approach this and the way I want to attract money, because that's how I look at money. Money's for me, I just need to create systems and do it in a way where I can attract opportunities, attract the right conversations. And it's just a completely different way to vibe in the world and create, so that's what I've noticed that's been happening. Like I find myself in moments where I'm like, oh, I need to make, let's just give you like a basic example. In the past, when I would, especially when I was like really in my sales career, I'd be like, okay, I need to make 100 phone calls. And of those 100 phone calls, I need to, book 10 of the appointments. And from those 10, I need to sell three. Like I would break things down in that way, which still works. It still works to do that. But what I also noted, what I noticed and again in my study in this is like, oh, can I approach that from a way of how about I just channel the energy and really tap into that? So I've noticed, like some of my biggest days over the last couple of months, I've been very intentional about my energy in the morning and like aligning myself. And then it's like I get on, let's call it, I get on some phones, I have some appointments, and then when my energy is right, like I just notice like the right conversations come in and I'll close a couple deals, right? And then it's like, okay, we're good. Whereas some days where I'm like, okay, today I need to work from this time to this time. I need to make 100 phone calls or whatever the case may be, and I need to get to this number. That's a completely different energy to attack the day or present yourself throughout the day. And those days haven't been like as smooth. So like I'm obviously bouncing in between both of those and kind of realizing, all right, it's time is an illusion is the way I'm looking at it. It's just like I gotta have my intention aligned and again, my intentions aligned. I've put my order out there, money making vacation. The universe knows what it is I'm doing and why I'm doing it. Now I need to just show up and be very authentic and present in the moments, and then the right opportunity will show up. And that's what I've been experiencing when I come from there. So I'm not in a rush when I wake up. I go on my walk, I get my coffee or my tea, my chai, and then I'm really intentional about where I am and what I'm doing, including being on the show and all that. And when I'm off base of that, bro, then the energy is just completely off. So yeah, long-winded answer to your question as usual, but that's where I am, brother.
That's awesome. That's awesome. It's look, I'll share something with the audience that I shared with you this morning. For me, it's been hard to kind of tap into that. You guys know I'm a dog owner. I used to have 5, lost 2 last year, and we're on the doorstep of losing another one. And this one's my baby girl. My wife calls her my girlfriend. She used to literally, I have pictures of her like half sitting on my shoulder while trying to kiss my face because she loves me that much. Like it's been that way since she was a puppy. And one of the first things she used to do was kiss with her feet. So she would and she looks like a miniature golden retriever. She's always had these long paws and a long snout. And if her face was right here on you, she would still paw your face because she just wants to be all over you. She has Cushing's, which is an attack of the adrenal gland. It's been that way for a while. We knew what was going to happen. It just sucks because she's almost 15 and we've had these dogs, all of them we have the mom still. She just turned 15. Like it's been a ride with these guys, man. And it's coming to an end. And I'm finding it hard to be okay doing my routine, because you get perspectively selfish. Well, I should be doing this because that's the right thing to do. Or if I move on to doing this, is that the wrong thing to do? And I just, for instance, when things kind of looked like they were at their worst, I had to stop cutting the grass. That was 2 days ago. She's still here and I haven't finished cutting the grass. So I had mentioned to you that I felt like I was letting resistance kind of take over because I wasn't achieving some desired results. But when I look at it, it's like, well, within probably 48 hours or so, I'm not gonna be able to do this. I'm not gonna be able to have that last bit of time, and that all sucks. But what I'm trying to do is find perspective. That's why I can't let the show sacrifice, and not even for you guys, for me. Right? Like I need to understand that I'm okay and show up in a way. Like we just went live on Instagram and I saw the way it looked in the vertical instead of horizontal. And it made me smile. It's really cool. I like it. This show brings me so much. So yeah, I mean, look, over last week, I did some really productive things to the property. I also found some more items to add to the list, and I try to put things in perspective again, right? Like every time your list gets longer, if you're doing a rebuild or you're being at work, but nothing has actually changed, the list didn't get longer. You just found the things that actually are on the list, right? Like I didn't see it until I saw it. And now that I saw it, it's on the list, but it was always there. I just didn't happen to see it. So instead of telling myself that, hey, it's now pushed another week, it's now pushed another month, it's done when it's done. And that actually, having that peace of mind is what helped me, sit with my girl these last couple of days. Her name's Gypsy, by the way. Gypsy, yeah. Gypsee. The dad dog, my wife named Riley with 2 E's, and then that tended to be the trend afterwards. The mom is Carly, 2 E's, Gypsy, 2 E's. We had Grizzly, 2 E's. So just a fun little thing for the family to do that. But yeah, anyway, sitting with her over the last couple of days, I'm not worried about continuing to get those projects done and how much money that property is going to get me and all this shit. Again, I mentioned on this show, it was either last week or the week before, that shit used to weigh me down so much, man. I can't believe this shit. Oh, now this has to happen. Oh, now this has to happen. No, it always had to happen because it was always an issue. I didn't create new ones. I didn't. yet, knock on wood, right? I didn't fuck something up and now we have to redo it. No, like this is just how this process is going. And finding those things, it's actually a good thing because now that will be done too. Something as simple as this. We were getting water in the garage because the previous owners built the driveway up to the base of the garage. Sorry, above the base of the garage so water wouldn't go in, but the garage door would sit on top of it. So water would still rush underneath the garage door. So we had them flatten that part out and re-put it in the driveway in that space. Well, now the door was set to go on top of it, and we're only talking like 4 inches. But now that it closes all the way, it doesn't lock in position because the locks were in these certain things on the side. So now I need to get that done. But that always needed to get done if we were going to change the driveway, right?
Mhm.
So now it's another phone call. I'll make that phone call when I want to. You know what I mean? And I'm just being able to put that in perspective because I was looking forward to these unexpected things. It's kind of hard because now that Gypsy's on her downturn, we've always should have been expecting it, but facing it it's bumming me out, man. It's bumming me out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and the dogs are, my mom had one dog that passed away in 2017. It's a beagle. We had him for 10 years. And I never understood people's attachment to their pets. I just wasn't very connected like that. And when his name was Strong, so when Strong passed, it was like a little brother had left. I bawled. And yeah, man, and that's what so one, my condolences for like what you guys are going through, because it's not easy. But I also think things like this come up to realign you and to have you see what's important. Because like you shared a little voice note with me, and I'll keep it keep it private unless you want to talk about the perspective. But I do think that I'm proud of you with like how you're processing things, right, and how you're going about things, because we obviously talk a lot offline. And again, I think it speaks to the energy of this community. We saw a beautiful thing happen with our brother, our crazy brother Bert, right, where he was going through it for 4 days, and he didn't want to talk to anybody. And I don't, to me, it's like divine intervention, bro. Because like he reached out to me last week after I did a headstand video, and he's like, "Hey, I have a question on like how you're sleeping," and like we exchanged phone numbers. And I know I reached out to him, and I was like, "Hey, look," and I sent him screenshots because like everybody was talking about like let's find a way, or thinking of solutions, and that obviously led to him being able to recover his funds, right? And I bring that up, and just to tie it back in with kind of your journey and what you're dealing with, and then realizing like, hey, the show's important to having the conversation here is important, how that lifts you up, but at the same time, Gypsy's a reminder of like presence, and I think that's one of the beautiful things that dogs specifically like bring to us. Like they're always so present. So yeah, man, all this other shit will take care of itself. And yeah, what I see for you is like, you're obviously in mourning and grieving that. And that's, you want to acknowledge that, because a lot of people bury it and act like it's not a thing or don't bring it up. And we feel it. You feel it when you're around people without them saying it, so you at least acknowledging it here. I know it's not easy. Um, and yeah, you know, everything will fucking get done on the list when it's supposed to get done. Because that's how shit is. Um, but like you said, you don't know. It's towards the end here, but hopefully it's not while we're sitting here talking. And yeah, man, some of the stuff in life that comes at us that just reminds us that like all we really have is this moment. So you try to cherish it and stay as present as you possibly can, and everything else will take care of itself around that, bro.
Yeah, and
So
I appreciate that, and that's what I got from your return note too. Is as much as I was trying to put labels or whatever to it, the truth of the matter is like what's happening is and it's nothing unknown, and it doesn't need a label. It just needs presence and sitting there and understanding what is allows allows things to be okay. So yeah, it's a bummer situation. So if I'm not as, sharp or in tuned or, maybe a little
You
distracted.
sound sharp. You sound sharp. You sound good,
There's
bro. But
one
hey,
thing in this world I'm very good at, and it's bullshitting. So I can get, I
hold
can
on.
get.
Bullshitting is when you're fucking coming from a place of hiding something and like not being authentic, and that ain't you. Like whatever. There's bullshitters out there.
No,
There's a lot of them. Trust.
for sure.
We've been but I don't think you and I can really hang around too many bullshitters for that long.
No,
They're fucking draining. So you're not. This isn't draining. It's just like, hey man, it's a sad fucking. It's your baby. 15 years, like dog years. Dog years. That's how many years? I mean, what a life. I can only imagine. Hope you took a lot of pictures. Spend as much time as you can.
Tons.
Everything else will, it's just, there's nothing. That's family, bro. Like to me, that's family.
No, they get stockings and everything, man. They get stockings.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
I love that.
No, they absolutely. We take care of them. Those are our babies,
Hell yeah, man. And that's that. So like this, I've talked about this being medicine. So that's what it is for you, like being in this community, and then seeing what, again, I brought up Bert and what transpired with that. That was pretty cool to see how that came together. And to me, that again speaks to the article. I see Moose is on here. That Moose shared, to me, it all speaks to what this protocol is about. It's not just about this little nominal figure. It's like, what is this creating for humanity? There's a small, and by small, it's like it's almost $1 billion worth of human economic energy put into it, which isn't a small amount. But there's just opportunity for people to see. We don't, for the most part, do not give a shit what it's priced in. There's something different here. There's something different about the people here. So that's what we're going to speak on. And by the way, we're people, man. We get sad when sad shit happens. But we can be real about it. we can be real about it.
That's true.
And then, like we're not in this alone, bro. We're not in this alone. I talked about my foster mom quite a bit on the show, and I hadn't talked to her in a minute. And yesterday I got on the phone with her for 2 hours, and we were just in each other's. I'm like, yeah, on the show I bring you up from time to time. I'm like, you're always there with me. My foster mom, Lucy, so, and she needed that phone call, bro. Like, it's always divine timing, right? Like, yeah, you got to make time for a family always. And the pets are a part of the family. Gypsy's a part of the family. So our energy and love is with Gypsy right now. I'm speaking for the community.
No, I appreciate that. Well, I tell you what, you don't have to speak for the community. We can speak to the community. No.
Oh, we can.
Bro, we went 2 hours last week.
We did.
And nobody wanted to talk to us. Nobody. And I, you know what? I'll throw out the gauntlet now. Fuck it. Anybody wants
man, you know who requested it?
Buffalo?
Just in time? Oh yeah.
Buffalo did.
We haven't had Buffalo on here, and I think you're spot on, bro. We spoke for 2 hours, just Bishop and I. Not that we don't enjoy talking, but I was like, come on, man. We need some energy from the crowd, from our family over here. So yeah, our main man Buffalo is back. Buffalo, what's up, brother? We haven't seen you in a few weeks. Good to have you back.
Buffalo.
Hey guys, am I coming through?
Yep. Yeah, we can hear you.
Beautiful. Yeah, sorry I haven't been around. It's been kind of wild in life. A lot of changes and pressures and just getting through it. But yeah, it's nice to actually have the time and be on, between work and trading and waking up early or taking like nap time after I get up at 5 a.m. Sometimes on Mondays, this is my nap time, so I apologize.
It's all good, brother.
Yeah,
man. No apologies.
Yeah, I've been like working really late, and then I have to get up really early so I can get my trading going, and I'm just like, I need to take a nap. And morning naps, you guys, I don't know if you guys have ever done a morning nap. They hit in a way that I can't even explain. They're great. But
especially when you're up late, right? When you're up late,
bro.
And you get that rush in the morning. I know exactly what you're talking about, because I would take naps throughout the day whenever I needed to. So yeah. But
yeah. After 35, I was like, you know what? Morning naps I think are acceptable. We're gonna do that. But yeah, no, it's good to hear you guys' voices. It's good to be here. I'm glad we got we got the good people. We got Burke in here. We got Odie. We got Moose. I remember Jason. I've seen George a couple times, so it's nice to see people to be in here to support you guys because you guys are doing the work. So I'm glad they're here. But I wanted to kind of expand on this because you were talking about, as we always talk about, like, what's the community about, or like why our community is so good. And I'm just sitting here kind of like enjoying my coffee this morning, and I was thinking about it, and I was like, okay, so if you have a protocol that's based on like truth, right? And self-sovereignty and innovation and honestly, just it comes with those things. I mean, and integrity with those things. Those are the kind of people you're going to attract. So I'm kind of just sitting here thinking about it. I'm like, well, why do we get along with the Kaspa community? Of course, we all have personality traits. We're all different, which is the beauty of life, right? But when we have these things that are kind of in line, like truth and integrity, then things like what happened with Bert, with the community coming back and even Odie like broke this down and kind of made a pretty cool article, or not article, but wrote about this, about like how things are changing, and there's innovation, and don't think that it's lost forever, and the community got together and solved that problem. And I'm just like, you know what? Like, I don't know any other community that would, and I'm not saying they don't exist, but I don't know of any other community that would like put in the effort and get that solved in under a week. Like that's so awesome. I'm super stoked for Bert. And so I mean, that just saved his bacon, like for sure. But when you're dealing with these kind of people, and I'm not saying everybody's perfect or everybody's in line with that, but I mean, we find our people within these communities. But if the community is based off of like integrity and truth, then and you can understand this too, Juan. Sorry, I'm going to be on a soapbox for a minute, but you can understand this too. Like if you're working in business and you're working with people that are integrous and their value system is the same as yours, like you can trust them. That means you can grow with them, and you both can profit, and not just monetarily, but you can profit in relationship, but also in business, and also in community, and you have each other's back. And when you can trust somebody, that's amazing, you know. I mean, it's what allows us to move forward and to build within a community. So when you have a base layer that's rooted in truth and this positive energy, then you have trust, and then you can have growth. So I think that that's something that holds. I think that holds us together, and I don't want to say keeps other people out, but at least when we're building a community in this protocol that's so young, these people will flock to it, like us, right? Because we want to be able to have growth, we want to be able to have innovation, and it's hard to do that when we're backbiting or when we don't agree with somebody. But as long as we're on the same road and our value system is similar, like I said, truth and integrity, then we can trust each other, and then that community is going to grow. And it has done nothing but grow since Kaspa's dropped. So that's all I wanted to say on that. But yeah, thanks for letting me talk, guys.
Yeah, well, I love it, and I have to chime in on this, man, because I think you speak to what a lot of people maybe can't put their finger on, but I think what happened with Bert is an example of what happens when you base a protocol in truth that is bounded by energy, and people can get out. So to me, right, I've said this several times, like how I see all of you as a reflection of me, including the people that I don't agree with, including the people that hate on me, including the people that might talk shit, which has been like Bert. I don't agree with how Bert speaks to people. There's a part of me that's like, okay, I understand where he's at and why he does what he does. Yeah, I found out he's 26 years old. He's a young guy, but it's based in this. Oh, but I've done the work, and I've found truth in this protocol, and you're not going to tell me it's this. So it's like that's just where Bert is. And I look at like Onion. Have had conversations with Onion about this, with the approach and all that. And I understand that even the worst parts of me, the worst parts of what exists out there, are a reflection of something within me. And I believe with this protocol, right? We've never had anything like this besides Bitcoin being the first iteration of a protocol decentralized, bounded by energy, proof of work, for launch to the world, right? We got another one in Kaspa, and like Bishop and I have talked about, and what we've said several times on the show, those are just nouns to ideas. So the idea that these protocols exist and they're still in infant stages, it's attracting people who have done the work, the proof of work on themselves, to get to a place to be like, oh shit, there's something different here. And then what is money? Money is just an abstract form of your energy. So like if you see it at that base layer and you understand that, you're going to move some of your time to this, right? So with people like Bishop and I, it's talking on this show once a week and holding the spaces and having conversations and connecting. But to me, that's what played out, and that's what you're speaking to, Buffalo. And you're right? Like let's call outside of Kaspa, I've experienced Kaspa, and I spoke to I think what I shared with Bishop earlier about like aligning myself and realizing it's not this time thing, it's this energy thing. So how can I attract the people into my life that are right there with me and want to walk along this path of truth, integrity, and just facing that as often as we need to, right? Because we're coming from a system that we know, people are talking about, like, we know what fiat is. We know that it's not backed by shit. We know that we've given too much of our power and our energy to these centralized entities, the governments. And to me, all of that is a reflection of these decisions that we've made for hundreds of years, right? And all these systems are collapsing, but most people and most of these other protocols are based in staking, and like the rich kind of still getting richer. But when you come from a place of, hey, it's a level playing field, and if you come with truth and integrity, right, you're going to benefit from being in this, whether you have one Kaspa in it or 10 million Kaspa in it, right? It's not about that number. It's about the energy and the frequency that you get to vibrate in. So yeah, that's my tangent with it, because it's like, Buffalo, you're speaking to exactly where I see this. And I've had like, I have freaking like very vivid dreams of this future, 10, 15, 20 years down the road. And I personally have always been like this. I've always, whenever the crowd runs towards something and they're fighting and there's infighting back and forth, I'm like, why would I go there? Let me find my peace. Oh shit, it's over here where people aren't even asking what the fuck is really going on. So that's what I see playing out, man. And I think what happened with Bert is a beautiful example. Like, I don't agree with how Bert talks, but I still, like, of course you're going to help somebody who's going through that and, wrote a message like that it's going to resonate with us who we don't, I wouldn't have, if that was a Bitcoiner that had something like that and that message was sent to me, I would have reached out. If it was somebody on XRP, I would have reached out, So yeah, there's my tangent on this, man. But it's like, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And it's like, I just don't think there's any better place to be than right here with people that are seeing this at its foundation.
Well, I tell you what, there's no other community that would have been willing to help him get his bag back through donations either. Like we saw where that was going to go. And before I had even a chance to catch up everything, he was lucky enough to get back into his wallet. But one of the first things he said is all donations will go back. And I'm like, wait a second. You guys even put out there that this was happening too? Yeah, of course I would have threw him 10,000 CAS if I had to. Like, right now we're in a spot to help take care of each other. Why wouldn't we? But again, you're right. Like, this protocol being rooted in truth and the community flocking to each other because of truth. That's why most bad players are gone now, right? There was a handful of those bad players manipulating the community. And to be fair, Bert, that was the first thing I thought of. I was like, this motherfucker better not be trying to get, a whole bunch of us to give him some shit back. But when it looked how serious it was and through his lens, how serious it was, I was like, oh shit, this looks like this really happened to this guy. So I followed a little bit, got busy, as you guys heard my story. But then, I even reached out to Juan on the side. I'm like, man, did you see this shit? And then, things went where they went. And so like, I felt more comfortable, like, giving it my energy. And then again, like I said, when I was about to like help get after it as best I could, this shit was handled.
Yeah.
Community came right in.
I had 4 or 5 messages and I'm like, oh shit, I happen to have Bert's number. And he was like, he's done with, so he wasn't responding to anybody. And I sent him a voice note, and he responded to that. And then I sent him screenshots, and then I'm like, hey, just stay in it. Like, even if you have a little bit of hope, you never know. I know, I'm like, there's a lesson here. And then he came back and he's like, all right. And I shared with I'm in a group chat with him. You're in that group chat too. So in a little group chat. And then I saw he started talking to Odie. I'm like, okay, cool. Other people that know more about this shit could potentially help him. And it was just so cool to see it play out the way it did. Bad actors get fucking, like, you are not incentivized to be a shitty person in Kaspa. So if you're a shitty person, like, not in truth, you get fucking weeded out. So that's what happens. So in a protocol bounded by energy, decentralized, like, there's no benefit to being a bad actor or bad player. Like, you will be weeded out and you will be called out. So that's another component to it that I see with these protocols, brother.
And I wanted to add to this because I remember seeing that, and I was reading it and I was like, oh crap. That sucks. But my immediate thought, and this is because I've been around the Casper community for God, it's almost 3 years now. That's wild. About 3 years. And my immediate thought was like, oh, he's gonna get donations. I was like, he's definitely gonna get donations. Like, I just immediately thought that. And because that's how much, not just faith, but like understanding of the community of how we roll. It's either gonna get fixed or there's gonna be support. Cause I know that drug him down, like, mentally. Cause putting 3 years of your time, 2+ million in casts. I was like, oh my God, bro. And he's so upset. He's wanting to walk away. And it's like, no, we're not going to let that happen. And I was like, he's going to get some donations. He's going to get some help. So I was happy that my immediate thought was exactly what happened.
Yeah, to me, that's just the power of, I said one of the first messages was, bro, you're going to be in my prayers. I pray constantly throughout the day, and it's not just getting on my knees, but it's like, I think of throwing out all that energy. So I know that he was hurting from the messages that I exchanged with him off of X. And I was like, okay, I shared with him. I shared with all you guys. Like, I was liquidated. It was a bit different, right? But I was liquidated for being dumb and playing with leveraging my Bitcoin. I'll share the amount. It was $225,000 worth of Bitcoin that, like, I'm like, okay. And it was different for me because in that, I got the fiat to spend it and pay my bills and use it. But I shared that with Bert. I don't think I ever shared that amount live here. So I don't have that much anymore. So don't come after me. But the point was, it doesn't matter if it's $1, right? Or a huge amount. It's like, it matters. It mattered to him. And, that's, like he said, it was 3 years worth of work. So it's like, I was throwing out all the shaman in me, the energy to be like, have this guy find peace. And he even wrote me back. He's like, dude, I'm not a very open person. And, he shared it, me following him. It's just cool to see, like, his little evolution over the course of this. Cause I even wrote him back and I said, maybe that's your lesson, right? Like, open up. Like, none of us do anything on this planet alone, so when you close down, that closes out opportunity. So as uncomfortable as it may be to open up, like, he's young, man. He's like 26. You got plenty of time to build yourself back up. I've done it 4 or 5 times in my life, bro. So, I knew I was going to be that source for him if he needed the help and the guidance and all that. So yeah, man, it was super freaking cool to see all that play out. That was awesome.
Well, that's what Pastor Juan does.
Pastor Juan.
It's been a while since you stepped in, brother. You put your pastor hat back on and just got
I'll take it, brother. I'll take it, man. I'll take it. I've been the shaman for my friends outside of Kaspa, and I'll be that for you guys. So yeah, just don't. So message to anybody out there ever going through. I don't give a shit if you're in Kaspa or not. Like you're never alone. There's always a way. I say this with my son all the time. Like, there's a solution to every problem. Sometimes it's not what you want or what you think. But if you stay in it, you get around the right energy, things happen. So.
No, it's beautiful, man. And I'm glad you were there. When I reached out to you and you were like, yeah, I'm on it. I was like, okay.
As soon as I got the message, bro.
Yeah. I was like, did you see what happened to Bert? You're like, dude, I'm on it. I'm like, okay. I felt good for Bert in that moment, for sure. It's a great thing to have you a part of this community, man. Like, you are I originally called you Pastor Juan because it really felt like this community was flocking to your perspective, and you had a really good way of bringing these nouns to ideas and helping people understand that, you know, whatever you think isn't what's happening, and not from a, you know, a conspiracy theory way, but just from a, like, get off the fucking surface, man. You know, again, what Bert went through. One of the first things I thought, I was like, man, Juan's going to tell this guy that it's just money. And I'm like, a lot of fucking money.
I could probably
For
say
me
that
to you.
to some people.
No,
to Bert, that wouldn't have worked, bro.
I know.
No.
I know.
But I see where you're coming from. Yeah.
Because me and Juan, we've had tons of conversations, and again, you guys have heard my financial journey and all this stuff, and where I've been. Juan has met me where I'm at, and he's literally been like, dude, it's just money. So that was one of the first things that popped in my head. I'm like, dude, that's a lot of money, though.
I could say that to you because of where we're at. Listen,
yeah, for sure.
I have experience. You know, again, I've been a coach and a business leader and all that. So I know, like, you can't speak to this person the way you do this other person.
For sure.
So Bert, that approach would not have worked. I was just coming from hey, let me see if I could, you know, kind of have him still have hope, because I know that he's very intense with it. So that's all he needed. He needed just a little slimmer of hope, and then boom, that opened up. You know, again, I pasted a little message on like the group chat, and I saw Odie getting into it, and then the guy that gave him a great guy out there. I'm not sure if I forget what his name is, but like he specifically got like, hey, get off of here or copy the passcode onto something else, and they got it handled, man. It's awesome to see that happen the way it did. So I played my part. Mom. That's it.
Shouts to Bert's mom. She was the one that told him to ask for help. He was ready to give up.
He did, right?
Like, ask for help. You know, one of the and look, Buffalo's brought it up a few times too. When we get on here and we kind of soapbox sometimes when we really get in the flow, and you know, there's men, right? Men need to do things. But through all the bravado and machismo and arrogance, one of the number one things men can do is ask for help. It is not fucking hard. That old trope back in the day, guys don't ask for directions, right? Now we all have a phone. How many guys use Google Maps? How many guys use Waze? We all ask for directions. And when we do, we're helped. And that's a beautiful thing. So do not have a problem asking for help. Because asking for help is one of the most powerful things you can do for your life, period. Period. It is so powerful to ask for help.
Like in Google, when you ask for it on Google Maps or Waze or any of those places, it gets you from point A to point B. So a lot of times you're, you know, especially when you're like in distress or just you're fucking in your head, you just being like, hey, somebody you confide in, you know, you come to Pastor Juan. Maybe that's what I'm here for, I think. So come to me and I'll reflect back to you, man. For me, like, my approach isn't like, I don't tell people, and Bishop, you can attest to this. I don't tell people what they need to do. I've been very fortunate with, shout out my foster mom, Lucy. Lucy was a mirror, a reflection, a space for me to see the solutions for myself. So she was very good at asking questions to get me to see things on my own terms. And that's really what it is for all of us. So I don't give a shit if you're a man. Well, it doesn't matter. You know, you bridging the gap and getting to wherever you need to get to. You know, a lot of times if you stay in your own head and you don't ask for resources or ask for some guidance and direction, it's not always going to be like the right thing for you, but you just get there quicker and in ways you maybe couldn't think of yourself. So again, I see, I've said it several times, but for me, I can see I relate to people that don't have shit, and I get the people that are up there on the mountaintop, man, because I've been in both places, so I have that perspective, you know, and I've been fortunate. I think that's one of my missions here on Earth is to give people perspective and light into whatever the fuck you're going through, man, because it is hard for a lot of people out there, but you can find a way to have a different take on it and, you know, make it easier on yourself and eventually get there. But there's going to be peaks and valleys, man, no matter what. So yeah, onward with what Bishop says, like, just be a man and ask for help if you need it. Like Bert did. Bert didn't ask for it. He asked for it. He asked for it indirectly. He's like, I'm gone. I'm out of here. I'm like, okay, that's somebody. That's his way of asking for help.
Absolutely. No,
Yeah.
that's awesome, man. And again, like Buffalo said, like you said, like this community is not here to let people down, and it was really cool to see everyone step up for him that way. Just beautiful.
No, man. We're all going to be multi-millionaires in energy. Whether you have one Kaspa or a billion Kaspa.
What's wallet?
That might not make sense right. That might not make sense right now, but in 5, 10, 15 years, it will make sense. Tell it to everybody.
No, for sure. Dude, we got everyone in the listening pool right now. We got
we got a nice little crowd.
We got Moose, we got Odie. Oh, we have another requested.
Yeah, we got Odie.
What's up, Odie?
Our main man, Odie. Welcome to the stage, Odie.
How are you guys doing?
What's up, brother?
We're good, brother. How you doing?
Awesome. I just was gonna pop up and say that these setbacks, if they tend to be the biggest blessings in my experience. When you think like all is lost, it's just there is an invitation in that moment for like an upgrade that you don't even realize. Like that's how it is. I would say 100% of the time, funny enough. So like, I mean, I've made some terrible mistakes in crypto and I have lost massive amounts, and I'm thinking if everything went perfect, I think I would have just kind of been sitting, looking at price go up and never kind of pushing myself in ways that I have in the past like year. So it's kind of interesting. Like, I think May 5th was the first time I posted anything in crypto, and it's because I hurt my back and I was off of work. And then now, like maybe a month ago, I broke my ankle, and then I started just going nuts with like the next level of work on Kaspa. But it's always like a thing that's like a backwards step, you know?
It's like life has a funny way of getting you to sit still and to get into your genius, because that's what I see for you, Odie. I see Odie just getting into his genius. So Odie shared with me, we had a conversation. When was that, Odie? Like I don't know, it was right when you broke your ankle, like the week after, and then like you just see Odie spitting out all this stuff that the community loves and needs, and that's who you are for us, bro. So yeah, if we need to break your other ankle after this, then we'll go ahead and do that.
Yeah. And you know, I think I will be like I think a lot of people know about the project, the Frost card one, but I think people should know, who are here at least, that I'm kind of the guy who's behind making the Frost card project. So if you guys have questions, just ask me and I'll do my best.
Love it. Yeah, I know a lot of people are excited about that, man. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you continue to create in your genius, because you are.
I wouldn't call it genius, but yeah.
I maybe you wouldn't, but that's what I'm calling it. So that's what it is. Bishop already said I'm the shaman of Kaspa. So what I say?
Well, I said pastor. You said shaman. We can easily change
word in different.
We can easily change it to shaman. It is your
how about
title.
pastor? I'm Hispanic, so how about pastor? That's yeah.
And we'll call you Jesus. We'll change you from Juan to Jesus. How about that?
I don't know about that. I don't know.
You guys want to hear something cool? You know how it's called this new thing, Takata?
Yeah.
Apparently, I was just like trying to figure out why they named it this, and it comes from it's like for a musical composition, just like crescendo, right?
Right.
But it comes from an Italian word, which is takare, or something, takare probably, and it means basically to showcase how a musician touches or plays their instrument, especially their technical skill or dexterity. So it's like a fast flowing, energetic, like improvised piece. So that's kind of cool.
Love
Yeah,
that. And
the devs.
I love the musical. Go ahead, Bishop. Go
No,
ahead, Bishop.
just every naming has been super thoughtful. It's always been with intent, and that's one of my favorite parts about Kaspa is these things are done with intent through truth.
Well, that's even a technology in itself, like giving things a name, right? The crescendo thing was very. If you play music or understand music and get into that, like that's pretty genius, like how they name that. And yeah, I haven't looked into Takata, so that's interesting. Now I want to go like research that word and look a little further because that speaks to me, from like a music standpoint and all that. So that's pretty cool. That's super cool. But yeah, man, I mean, to speak on what Odie says, I think a lot of times like life kind of throws these curveballs at you to kind of get you to, I'm joking about it, but it gets you to sit still. I kind of look at that for myself, right? With being on this, for me personally, being on this money making vacation, but making sure I show up here, like, it's been different, but kind of like how Odie's in his creation mode. It's like the things that are coming my way, the things that are coming for us, Bishop, and the show. It's like we're an example of that, and it's like Odie spoke about. It's like I've the most beautiful, brightest points or the pivots in my life happen to be like when the challenges are really like, oh shit, what was the moment you don't see the blessing, but like Odie said, he looked back and last year May 5th was when he first we were introduced to him, and we're getting to see all that from Odie again. So yeah, man, we appreciate you, brother, and yeah, hopefully we don't have to break your other ankle to keep seeing it.
So I kind of want to talk about I guess I don't usually call it Takata. I usually just call it like testnet 12 when I'm working on projects and stuff, because you'd have to use testnet 12 to try stuff out, right? So but if it is pretty cool, like so starting with making a little Kaspa Flappy Bird game, but then the next thing, I've had a couple ideas which are duds, but I kind of wanted to tell about this interesting. Well, it's something that I have a little website going for, and because of the Frost Card project, it just spurred this one. It's called Stag Hunt. The website's called Stag Hunt, and it's gonna be launching on in 2 months as well, or probably a little past that. And basically, it wouldn't work unless you had Kaspa and testnet 12. Like, this is the idea. Essentially, is you put out an idea. Anybody can put out an idea, like something that you think the world would do for a certain amount of money. So put a Kaspa logo on a NASCAR, and then you put a reward for 100,000 Kaspa, and it has to be on TV, and you get to establish all the parameters of what it would be if it was fulfilled, and then you post this onto the thing, and a bunch of people can contribute their Kaspa, right? And let's say the deadline for this is 1 month for the funding. If the funding isn't hit, the 100,000 Kaspa, let's say it only got to 40,000, all of the Kaspa automatically refunds to all the people who donated. So it's zero risk. And then if the funding is hit, there's a window that happens of like maybe a month, or you can establish like anywhere from 7 days to a year. And if somebody submits submits video evidence that they did this thing, so they put a Kaspa logo on a NASCAR and it's on TV, and somehow they were responsible, then it goes into this website, and what we have is a bunch of validated people who are Caspians, who are validated through Twitter, and there's a vote whether this is a valid piece of evidence. So if it's AI, we go, no, you don't get the reward. And if it's a majority vote of 2/3, then we reward the person 100,000 Kaspa. But it's very much like a super intense, like we all go over whether this is it's succeeded or not. So the thing's called Stag Hunt, and and if it's not achieved, the money goes back to all the contributors as well. So it's like zero risk. It's a interesting idea, but that's something I'm working on right there. And some other ideas that you could do is like you can have somebody famous be like, if you make a video about Kaspa and have it up on your YouTube channel for 100 days, then you will get this much Kaspa. And then after the 100-day mark, if they actually did the challenge, then it automatically goes to their wallet. So it's pretty cool.
That's pretty neat. Yeah. Engagement. I mean, it's fun for the community. Yeah.
And the most interesting part about it is this is one of the only ways that we have that is a solid way of crowdfunding ideas and then having something actually happen in the real world. And then if the crowdfunding never goes to waste. If the idea doesn't perfectly work out, all the money comes back to the community. Yeah. So it's like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about like so many different ways that can be used, like outside of just, not just even funding something, but like I'm a sports guy. It's like sometimes I don't know, you spend money on a ticket, and it's like if there was some way to implement something like that, like where it just incentivize like everything, right? Like there's incentive to invest your money and then to know like, oh, if this isn't done, then you get like a percentage of it back or something like that, right? Like I think it would just have us be more vested into things or even try things out. So yeah, that sounds awesome, Bodie. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of that. Buffalo had his hand up. Did you have a question, Buffalo?
Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, go for it.
Perfect. Okay, so just for fun, Odie, I looked up stag hunt, and Wikipedia says this. In game theory, the stag hunt describes a situation or game where participants would be better off cooperating to achieve a more ambitious goal, but can choose a safer option that protects them from a bad outcome. This sets up a stylized conflict between safety and social cooperation based on mathematical payoffs for each option.
There you go. So because of the structure of this website, I have to I'm implementing an AI filter that keeps illegal shit off because people are going to put hits out on like national leaders or something.
Oh, yeah. That's scary.
No, but that's the cool part is nothing gets past I call it the referees. So it's going to be like maybe 200 referees, or maybe it's 15 or 30, but it's done in such a way where if you miss a vote, or if you're not acting within the constitution of being a proper referee, then there's a vote also to vote a referee out of being a referee. So it's got this cool kind of DAO thing. It's very much a mixed thing of, there is a trust part, which is the referees and stuff. But yeah, if it's all Kaspa goals, I think it very much is going to be very, very fair and easy. Because every referee has the what's the word? Their incentive is to have like the best outcome for a Kaspa thing. So yeah.
Yeah, I love it, man.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Quick programming note. It appears that Instagram kicked us off after an hour, so that's fine. No big deal there. That was just a test run for this week. As we mentioned at the beginning of the show, Vivor is taking a step back from their project until they can give better time and energy to it. So we tried Instagram this week. And since I'm speaking on that, just check the link in the description for all our tags. Juan at Juan G Ramos 888. I'm at LOTKS.kas. The show is at liveonthekaspastandard.kas. TikTok at live.on.kaspa, and Instagram at liveonthekaspastandard. Over on YouTube at liveonthekaspastandard as well.
Yes, sir. And we have our main man Moose has joined the stage. What is going on, Moose?
Coming to bound himself with energy.
Mr. Moose inspired the sub header. Bounded by Energy.
Hello.
What's up, buddy?
Hey guys.
What's up, brother?
I'm sitting here eating pizza.
Nice.
I had a course on work today, and I scored full score. And I'm celebrating with a couple of beers and a pizza.
Man, I think the last time we talked to you was I think when we had like Chad Parker on, and you were having some wine, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. It sounds like you're partying all the time, man. I wish this stuff.
I gotta live like
No.
Moose, man. I gotta live like Moose.
For real.
Yeah, it's easier to come on with a little alcohol in the blood. I'm pretty shy.
I find that hard to believe with the content and what you put up. I just went ahead and pinned it up on the spaces, but I brought you up, I think before you came on the show, Moose, and it was for me, I know we went back and forth on some exchanges, some DMs, but
Yeah.
I think like your layers in there in terms of relating this to with what your specialty. So if you can share a little bit the inspiration of the post, and again it inspired the subheading today of Bounded by Energy, because that's 100% where I see Kaspa and these protocols that are bounded by energy. So yeah.
Bounded by Energy is a result from me sending the Stag Hunt post, which was the RTD post before it, to Orangutan Elder Honorius, and he asked what would Hayek say, and I thought maybe I should investigate what Hayek would say. And then I just wrote, and it became a really, what I think, powerful post. But that's it. Yeah, I got a question and I answered.
Yeah, there we go. And just so maybe for those that don't, because like Hayek was talking about these concepts of separating state and money a long time ago, right? So maybe if you can give a little bit on that, on what, and like how it relates to it, to kind of bring it home for some people that maybe aren't as aware.
Yeah, Hayek's problem was that no central entity can decide what the price of money should be, because prices are decentralized. They're not the same in every region just because you have one currency. So you have prices change because cost of production of things change between if you work in Hollywood and you get a massage, it will cost you $8,000 at least. But if you live in like Sweden, like I do, it will cost you 200 crowns, which is like $20. So prices aren't the same because the supply and demand of the money isn't the same. So it's a very big question.
Yeah.
That's but prices tell you what is important in this community right now. That's it.
Yeah. And that was the connection and the link. So we talk about on the show, and in general, the concept out there that one Kaspa is one Kaspa. Bishop, you've even asked me, like, what would the price be of Kaspa if we held it in cold storage outside of the system? So that, to me, his article really speaks to that, like the separation of the system that we measure money in, right? So speaking of what Moose is talking about, right? Like he said, a massage could cost $8,000 in California and Hollywood, $4,000 in Miami, $10,000 in New York. It's still a massage, and we're measuring what it costs on this money that the price of money is being set by a central entity. And that was one of Hayek's biggest, one of his biggest talking points was how like that needs to be separated because it's from a control system. So to me, it links, Moose's article here just links it. And I know we had a conversation around it with where you were at, and you had talked like maybe, people aren't, because I said, hey, maybe it's going to be a little over most people's heads. But I think that, like, as I thought about this, I think going just continuing to ask the questions to kind of have people link it, because people are still, if you're still looking at this from like, oh, what is Kaspa priced in dollars, you got to understand that that's from a control system. And the more and more people understand that a protocol like Kaspa exists, and you really get to know why Bitcoin was here. I spoke about it last week. What is the big thing about this community is like the ethos and the culture and the foundation of what Bitcoin was originally around for is here within Kaspa. Like, we've continued that evolution, the cypherpunk movement, all of that. These protocols were designed to replace that system, not to prop them up, not to make the dollar stronger. It's for us to have an opt-out, So I've talked about this, how the way I see this and what resonates for me is like, there is no fix within the system. There's no fix. So it's like the right, the left, we're going to vote like another, the Democrats and the Republicans. That's going to keep going on and on, right? But where can you find your sovereignty? Where can you go? Where can you move your time and your energy to? And that's what we have here with a protocol like Kaspa, and eventually all of us getting to Rosario Island.
Well, one thing, Moose, that I had a question for, and I asked Juan, and we actually kind of read the article differently, and I meant to DM you, but again, kind of got stuck to the side. You mentioned very early on that decentralization did not become real at Bitcoin's launch, and that the miners worked on based off of like faith. But then when price came in, it kind of solidified what was happening. And what do you technically mean by price is what helps the decentralization? Because part of what price is not necessarily what we look for when it comes to utility of Kaspa, right? One Kaspa is one Kaspa.
Yeah. The problem that Bitcoin had without price was that you only competed for coins because you thought it might have value later, or you thought you could buy something with it later. And when you get price, that is multiple participants all over the world competing for these coins, you get a sense of this is what it's valued by the total community, and we have to match cost of production to it. So the cost of production follows price, which you can see. If price goes up, then hash rate goes up. If price goes down, then hash rate goes down. It's if you mine coins below the average cost of electricity, then you will make a profit because you mine for a lower cost than you can sell it for, right? So everything falls to the marginal cost of production, like Jeff Booth says. That's absolutely true. And if you mine above that, then you will eventually bankrupt yourself. So without price, without this North Star to follow, how would you know when you will go bankrupt?
Right. But that's specifically from the structure of mining.
Yeah.
Okay, because the utility as consumer, like you said, it could be a massage for $8,000 US, or it can be a massage for $20 of US, but it's the same service being performed.
Yeah.
How
depending on
is there a way? Is there a way to make that service to have Kaspa show true value? Because if you're using Kaspa in that scenario, then you're putting 175,000 Kaspa on one, and you're putting 400 Kaspa on another.
Yeah.
How much Kaspa is one massage worth?
Exactly. How much is one massage worth? It depends on where you are. I mean, if you have a nation that is like full on Kaspa, everybody has huge amounts of Kaspa, and then you have a country that doesn't have huge amount of Kaspa, it's very sparse. Then, I mean, the massager in this instance is an extractor of Kaspa. They don't care about what they're giving; they care about what they're yielding, right? Where was I going with this? God damn it. I
You're
lost
right
myself.
there. You're right there.
Yeah. So it depends on how much CAS is in the system that you are in right now.
Okay.
Okay. So if you're in Sweden, which is like people don't care for crypto, they trust institutions very much, they trust the banks. You won't be able to have a high CAS price on a massage in Sweden. I can guarantee you that. I think I've had connections with 3 Swedes that has Kaspa in the whole Kaspa community. And but if you go to where do we have the most Kaspans? US. In the US, you would be able, as a massager, to take a higher CAS price for a massage because there is more Kaspa around you, so you can attract more people. In Sweden, you can only attract 4 people. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's the supply and demand of the money in the system that you are in right now. You have to match your cost of production of your service to the cost of production of the Kaspa, but also take in the supply and demand of Kaspa in the place you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm I'm all over the place.
No, you're right. No, that actually hit perfectly for me because we're looking as a community to generate interest. I usually don't concern myself with adoption, but how you laid it out, adoption seems to be paramount because the ability to receive is one hurdle. It's probably the biggest hurdle based off of what you're saying, because without an infrastructure in which you can utilize, the true value will never be established. So we won't see how much CAS is being utilized, because my issue with crypto period, when it comes to nominal terms, it's always valued in the USD, right? So, this is worth how many dollars? Well, I don't want to know how many dollars it's worth. I want to know how many Kaspa are you going to take for this? But like you're saying, it not only has to be valued in the US dollar, but if I can take my Kaspa here and I can't take it there, then we're kind of just limited to what the value of USD is and making a simple exchange, as opposed to so many people are taking Kaspa, and now the value in which Kaspa goes up, your Kaspa becomes more utilized. So that utilization is actually just as is probably the biggest side effect from adoption. Adoption then allows utilization. That's what I heard from you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we need spread. We need to spread the word, and we need to spread the coins. We need to use them so they get in other people's hands. The more people that have Kaspa and can use them, will use them.
Yes, and that right there speaks to what's one of the things that we like when we're talking to some of the Bitcoiners about the whole HODL. Like right now with that protocol, HODLing makes sense in terms of where they are with it and it being financialized and the tools that are being built around it. Right. With Kaspa, speaking of what, if I'm hearing correctly and with how Bishop tied it in, the more this spreads, and the more it's used, right? It's not about hodling or hoarding the Kaspa, because if we don't use it, you lose it in a sense, right?
Yeah.
Like it needs to be used and spread around. And then in this, you brought up Booth, and I love Booth and like his initial philosophy on decentralization, bounded by energy, proof of work, right? Staying secure. When it's a protocol that you're exchanging these goods and services, and that's how how we're exchanging through a protocol like Kaspa, things get cheaper for you over time. I mean, we can see that playing out in nominal terms, right? Like even though Kaspa has bounced down in nominal terms compared to like the US dollar, right, from its initial launch and it being in existence, like even where it's at right now, over time, that's going to continue to, like, your purchasing power in a decentralized proof of work, capped, as long as it continues to spread and stays decentralized, your purchasing power goes up with the less and less amount. Like you don't actually need a million Kaspa. So if people start to use it and adopt, it's like
But I want it.
Exactly right. But like think about so to me, and I wonder what your opinion is, or Bishop, or anybody if they want to come up. Like you hear somebody like a Rajat that talks about just get to 0.1 Bitcoin. And speaking to the point that you're talking about, okay, that makes sense if enough Bitcoin goes around and is actually being used and it actually is being adopted. So to me, I see what's happening. It's like you guys aren't like you're not exchanging Bitcoin to Bitcoin. Like you're using third party still. So that doesn't. So now we have derivatives of Bitcoin. I don't even think the price of Bitcoin wouldn't be where it's at right now if all these instruments weren't out there. It'd probably be like $20,000-$30,000 if we actually got the actual nominal price of it, right? So that's going to play into it in terms of, that's why I think focusing on the price isn't what it's about. It's about, is this being used and are people exchanging it, understanding that hoarding it does not keep it around? So that's one of the things with Bitcoin, like maybe it gets saved by these institutions, but it becomes a whole other thing than what it originally was. And that's where I think Kaspa comes into play. It's like, there's enough money in the world for all of these protocols. Like Silver said it when we had the conversation with him, right? He was talking about how, if there's, look at gold and silver. Gold went from 22 trillion in market cap to what, 36 trillion, and then dipped more than there is in all of crypto in a day. Went from like 36 to like 32 trillion. We're sitting here arguing and going back and forth with them. It's like, no, bro, we just got to be above it and actually speak to things that are real, right? It's like, there isn't that much money in crypto right now, right? But there's an opportunity here to really educate and have people understand, like, we got to use this Kaspa. You got to spread it around, right? So for it to, actually take effect.
Well, and
I
to
think
your
gold
point,
is.
go ahead.
I'm
Mo.
sorry. Okay, I think gold is quite interesting because the market cap is huge compared to everything, and the volume of trading is very tiny. And I've looked at different gold, silver, Bitcoin, Kaspa, all these things that we consider scarcities have very low volume compared to market cap. Like Bitcoin trades from 1 to 5% of its market cap every day. In a bull phase, it's more likely to be close to 5%, and in the bear phase, it's close to be like 1%. So it takes very little to push the needle very much, right?
Yeah.
And this is true for gold too. Like before gold started pumping, the volume was below 1% of market cap. There was almost no trading at all. So when somebody buys, thinks, oh, hey, I want some gold, then price will go up because it just happens. You don't have the float for it.
Right.
So I think that's a very interesting thing to think about when it comes to scarcities. And also another thing, what was I thinking? Wait, give me a second. Yeah, when we see price of Kas or Bitcoin go down, that's not what's happening. We need to see it like, how much goods and services can I buy from Bitcoin today?
Yeah.
And when the price goes down, you need to spend more Bitcoin because you have inflation, right?
Right.
If the price of Bitcoin goes down, then to your Bitcoin, the price of everything else goes up. And this is exactly what happens in fiat when you have deflation, when you have the amount of money in the system goes down compared to the goods and services. They become more expensive, and you spend less because you can't spend more. You're gonna run out, and that's a part of the holding culture. It's not a decision you take; it's the rational decision that you can make. I can't buy as much right now, so I better save my money until I can. And then price goes up, and we go wild, and we spend and we trade, and and we spread our coins. And because we spend our coins, we create an abundance of the market coins. And because we create an abundance of market coins, then it has to go down because it's not scarce anymore. It's really interesting to watch the hodl waves and the holding times and how people react in en masse all over the world in the same way. It's incredible. Everybody does the same thing. It's fucking weird. It's like a fucking orchestra.
No, I agree with you.
Human
And what I was going to
behavior,
mention,
right.
yeah, what I was going to mention before was when Roger, recommends getting to 0.1 Bitcoin or 1 Bitcoin or 0.01 Bitcoin, whatever it's going to be tomorrow. My response was always, but what can you do with it? And I think that's where, the light bulb hit me today talking to you guys. It's like, well, same thing with Kaspa, right? Doesn't matter how much you get. What can you do with it? And I know with what's coming up with Takata and Covenants and these things being built, we're going to have more. What can you do with it? But there needs to be more. What can you do with it? Because like you just said, Moose, the ability to move this stuff around and Kaspa's advantage with sovereignty and speed, we can then start creating what that price looks like. And it's honestly, what's really crazy is Kaspa is at that unique opportunity because we're so early. We still are. We do it 6 months. 26 out of 52 is half, right? Now there's one extra in there. So maybe next week is 6 months. But anyway, we've been doing this for 6 months and we've been talking about how early this is. And it is. It's very early. And as it devs and you guys create more dope shit, we will use it. I want to use it. It'd be great to use it. Yeah. And in using it, you're right. It's gonna start creating its own new baseline of what this fiat price is. So whether that's 4 cents or 8 cents or 12 cents or $50, I don't know. I have no clue. But it's at a place now where you can acquire it, and when these things exist, you can use it. Because it's so fast. And then we figure out, hey, this is what we are telling people to do. Because when it comes to the ability to be sovereign and make exchanges, Kaspa's right there. And it's above all else. We just got to figure out what can we exchange it for.
Yeah. But what else is there that's built like this on its foundation? There is nothing else right now, right? Bounded by energy, decentralized, proof of work, those concepts, right? That a lot of people maybe initially understand, but the fact that that's at the base layer of this, you have sovereignty as a service. Jonathan speaks on that. Then you have, all these builders, and I see him on here where we got the room filled with them, right? Odie, I see Coder stuff down there, right? Like
Seb was in here for a while.
Seb was in here, right? And so there's and then like what we're doing, we're building community. So it's, to me, that this speaks to, and again, I'm going to relate it to my life and how I've operated and what I've seen work out. It's like whenever I attach myself to this outcome, and that's what I see people doing mostly with anything. When I attach myself to that outcome, I miss out on what things are in the moment. And in creating in the moment, you can bridge that gap to what's possible. But we have no clue what it's going to look like a year, 2 years, 3 years from now. What you need to do, and the way it works in these protocols, and the way it works in general in life, like life is a proof of work system. You are bounded by energy. And if you are somebody who goes out there and produces in your life, you get rewarded in energy. And you're able to, so again, speaking as an entrepreneur, somebody who's been a creator, someone who's attracted opportunities and money, and I've had nothing, and I've had, okay? So just speaking from an energetic standpoint, the times that I haven't, it's been like because I've kind of been in my own little bubble, and I'm just really focused on myself. When I go outside of myself and understand, okay, where can I put my energy? Where can I serve people? Where can I? That's attracted money in that system. It's just in this system. I just think that taking a look at the differences, the more honest you are, the more authentic and real you are, and the more you try to solve problems, you will be rewarded here in some capacity if you move your time and energy to it. You and I have talked about it, Bishop, moving everything over, right? That was my lesson. It's like I aped into Bitcoin, I aped into Kaspa, you know, and luckily I have the resources to be like, all right, let me go on this money making vacation. I'm all right. Don't recommend that for most, right? Because, you know, I've talked about a message that I think is dangerous, and Saylor says it like, you should put the money into Bitcoin that you can't afford to lose. And I just, you know, 71% of Americans don't have more than $2,000 to their name. So no, you should not put everything into here. You should spend a little bit of time, ask questions, understand what's going on here. And I think that's what all of this speaks to, bro. It's beautiful to be here. It's beautiful to be here. And to me, it just parallels so much for me in my life, and where I'm spending my, you know, where I've spent my time in it, and I've seen the rewards of it. And I'm not attached to like this, like I'm not attached to oh, I need to get fucking 1 million Kaspa. Like I don't care about any of that.
Right.
That's not where I operate from. So you know what? I'm probably gonna get more than that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because that's how it works. So I'm not, there's no, you know, attached to nothing, connected to everything. To me, it's like I will get what I'm supposed to get if I do what I'm supposed to do, and I show up for people the way I'm supposed to show up. And that's where we are. Speaking of being early, right? It's like right now is the time to build, do what you can do. You know, you're working another job, do what you got to do, but be around for this. Be around for this and participate in whatever capacity that you can. So that's where we are, brother. That's how I see it.
No, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. I mean, because that's all you can do is what you can do. You know, again,
Yeah.
I've had FOMO. What can I do? What can I do? And not you and Seth, like you're doing it. Like, what do you mean I'm doing it? Yeah, you're doing it. It's like, yeah, that's what we can provide. And
Yeah.
and even if it's, you know, anyone in the community that just wants to hop up and ask a question, that's doing it.
That is.
Yeah. Continuing to operate in truth is something that no other cryptocurrency yet, we'll say yet, is going to do. Again, the noun to the idea, Kaspa,
There we go.
Kaspa's noun to the idea is sovereignty and truth seeking. It's just here. It's what we do. So continue to try to find these things out. Look, Moose put out a brilliant article. I know it was brilliant because it took me forever to figure out what the fuck I was reading. You know, like, it's just that's
Moose. We went back and forth on that on some voice notes. I'm like,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, discuss it, man.
Yeah.
I think about stuff and I write what makes sense to me. It doesn't have to make sense to you, but you can always discuss it. You can always ask me questions. What do you mean? You know, I'm always here. I'm literally always online.
Yeah, you've been great about that, man. We've had some good conversation. I appreciate you because I'm, you know, when I started studying so I've been Kaspa, I discovered it in May of 2024, but I did not let anybody know that I held any of it till July of 2025. I had, you know, so I discovered everybody here in July after the Bitcoin debates, and I just got to say, like, I remember reading some of your stuff, and I'm like, okay. And I'd had to put it into Chat GPT, and I'm like, make this make sense to me. It sounds brilliant, and now I can read your articles, and I'm there with you. So
yeah, I know.
You know,
I know English isn't my first language, so I use the words I have, and I know it's not that smooth, and I don't know how to articulate myself smoothly. So I just write what I write, and I just hope for the best. And I believe that if you read many of my articles, you will see the same words over and over again, and you will learn the language that I think in.
That's exactly what's happened, brother. That's exactly how it's been. And again, you and I have gone back and forth on some DMs, and you know, it's pretty cool some of the stuff that you've shared with me. And I'm like, yeah, this is so it's cool to get. Yeah, obviously you're going to keep doing what you're doing, but again, one of the builders within Kaspa, like sharing his perspective and insights that I think is, you know, like Moose is. If you're not following Moose and you're in here or you're listening to this, like go to his account and follow him. So he gets into depth, and like he says, he communicates it the way he communicates it. But we have beautiful AI to get you to understand. We all speak like a different language, and right? Isn't it like that for most of you guys? I don't know, Bishop.
I have a post about it.
Yeah, I have to throw things that I have to, you know, I understand the devs now. Bishop and I have talked about it, like, oh, we stopped saying this shit a long time ago. We stopped saying, oh, we're not technical. Like, no, I'm going to stop saying that. I'm not going to be lazy. me pop this into the technology that I have. I tell AI all the time, make this make sense to me from what you know about me. And it breaks it down. And then I go back and read the article and I like, I have fun doing that. I have a good time doing that. So yeah. If you want to know the information, it's out here, and you're one of those accounts to definitely follow and get insight from it. Because like you go places where I'm like, ooh, do people really get this? And I got that sharing this article with Bishop. I'm like, I'm like, I know. So it's awesome to see Bishop ask the questions and kind of get there for himself. So yeah. Beautiful, man.
It's great, and we need to do that. And you brought up a word that I don't like because it's a crutch. But you said I'm not going to be lazy, and I'm like, fuck, man. Like, I'd rather be lazy. Tell it to me simple without.
How's that working out for you?
Speaking hyperbole, all right. Speaking hyperbole. I have no problem putting in proof of work, but there's some things I don't have the bandwidth at the time. Okay, so
then that's the time to be lazy. That's a time to be lazy.
I get an article by Moose that I don't understand. I'd rather be lazy. So instead of diving deeper, I'll wait until I talk to him.
No, you wouldn't, because that's why we're here and we're having this conversation. You're not lazy when it comes to any of this stuff. The way you're relating to lazy to me, it's like, oh, you're tired and you need rest. But once you get your energy back, you're right here with us, bro. Stop it.
All right.
I'm not gonna let you get away with that.
I could always go to AI and just say simplify this text, and it will. But the thing is, I think in my world, it's about. I put in a lot of effort in my posts. I put in a lot of thought. I think 24/7 about this shit, and it's like, no, I respect the reader to either hop off or hop on and make some effort to read it.
Yeah.
It's a little about respect. Like, I have to respect you, or if I make it too easy for you, then I treat you like children. That's not what this is about.
It is
children can't fucking do this.
Well, and again, it incentivizes those who want to really understand for themselves to go and figure out how to understand it for yourself. Like, that's how you really that's how you evolve. That's how you learn and you adapt and you grow. So yeah, hell yeah, bring it in your words, and it's on us to really get it,
That's what I was actually getting at while I was, taking a dig at myself for the time that I get lazy. The truth is all the information is out here and everyone's willing to share it. So if you find those moments where you want to put in the proof of work of getting to the end of what Kaspa looks like for you, the information's there and the questions are able to be asked. So following people like Moose or Kaspa teachers in here too. Again, Odie's always posting good stuff. Everyone just start following the community, and if things get a little cluttered, trim some things down and look at other places. But there's so much out there, and the best fucking part, man, is if you have a question, someone has a real answer. That's the engagement farming that all these Bitcoiners are doing now, right? And what about Kaspa? And then you see 45 fucking comments later. Maybe there's 12 different opinions in there, but all those opinions are rooted in truth, So it's man, like it's here for you. It's all right here for you.
Yeah, it's different viewpoints from different people. It's gossip. We need to be like nodes and make consensus out of all the gossips. I read everything on X that's written by every Caspian, and my mind is blown like every day. And then I have to make sense of it. I have to make consensus, and that's how my posts emerge.
Oh, I love that analogy because it's so like that. I don't think I looked at it that way. But yeah, if you read everything and then just realize like you're a node and you have to verify a truth, right, for yourself, that's what you're doing. That's beautifully said, Moose. I agree with that. It's just, and I'm personally like in a place where it's like I can, I know when I first, because again, I'd not participated in social media. I just was off of this shit. But then I heard the debates. And to me, it was like, holy shit, these people from Kaspa are like all the people that I need to be talking to that I was trying to get answers from in Bitcoin. And, speaking of like my laziness, right? Like Bishop, I think I think I just wasn't around, I wasn't going to where I needed to be. And I was just like, all right, I gotta go into this. I had Kaspa, and there's this community out here. And then as soon as I introduced myself, as soon as I ran that first spaces, I'm like, wow, I've never felt this like as quickly. I've been a part of communities, right? Like I played high school, college football. Like I've been that guy. Nothing like this, like as quickly as it happened. And that speaks to the power of the energy within this community. And again, speaking of the people, right? Because Moose says, and I do it too. Like I read what everybody says, and the ones that really resonate and are based in truth are like the Caspians, because like they educate. Kaspa Onion speaks about this a lot. Like we consistently are educating Bitcoiners on Bitcoin. So it's like people within Kaspa have gone deeper, and they can tell you more about Bitcoin. They can tell you about other protocols. Like I don't know as much about Ethereum and Solana. I know what their foundation is and their base and all that. But I personally don't come from a place of talking shit. I'm like, okay, what is it? And then I move my time and energy to what makes sense. But again, that just speaks to like I've been so educated being on X over the past 8-9 months. And it accelerated everything. And then in having these conversations with you, episode 26 here, beneath the surface, which we go beneath the surface here now too, right? And we always have, but we always have. So yeah, for me, it's like I like immersing myself at once a week on these conversations and getting. This is beautiful. We've had a nice little turnout today. So this is awesome, man. This is beautiful. I get a lot of energy from this.
Well, speaking of energy, you swapped the tree of life. This week you got something else behind you.
Oh, it still has the 7 chakras though. It's,
okay.
It's a yogi and it still has the chakras there. Yeah. I felt like a switch up was necessary. Maybe it wasn't.
Fair enough. This one looks a little bit more.
It's the same concept, right?
Little bit more powerful from within.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I thought the tree of life was more welcoming. This one feels like more of a statement, more of a statement of strength behind you.
Okay.
Yeah, instead of like wide open arms, this is not look at me in a vanity way, but like look at the strength I possess. That's what that one looks like to me.
Like the power is within. I speak on that, right?
I can see that.
Within us.
It's showing.
So the other thing too is like, yeah. So like you see the way he's so that's another thing too is like when you open your hands up. So the tree of life does that. It's kind of you're opened up, but like there's also strength within, and sometimes you got to be very protective of that strength and that energy. I would say I'm in that frequency, so that's probably why it's behind me now. So yeah,
there we go.
I was flipping through and I'm like, this is the one that I've had up on while I'm working. I work this weekend, so like I have that up just to kind of get my energy aligned, make sure the chakras are in tune. But yeah, man.
Okay.
Odie, what's up, brother? Odie's got his hand up.
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, I was just gonna double down on something that Moose was saying there.
Let's
that
go.
thing, that point about us being nodes. I was talking with my landlord who he really wants to learn, about crypto and stuff. And when I listen to him, he seems like me a year and a half or 2 years ago. And he's very like, he's wanting to know a lot. He says somebody was living where I was living and they were an H-bar maxi. And he's like, I have no idea how to tell why one is better than the other and stuff like this. And we had this conversation about, he said something about being the stupidest person in the room and then being the smartest person in the room. And we kind of stumbled upon this idea that you don't even know what room you're in. Like when you come into crypto, you're in a room of smart people always. And you have no idea, you have no way of moving past that feeling of being like, everyone's so smart until you start verifying stuff yourself. You cannot, maybe you start off in an XRP room, but unless you start taking multiple opinions and verifying yourself and contrasting all the viewpoints, you're not going to move to a different room. And it's constantly like crypto influencers, like on YouTube. I remember like, I don't know, 3 years ago, kind of going through the altcoin list and having like this, I forget what it was, like this Asian kid who like ranks all these altcoins, and he like has the craziest amount of like research and stuff. And like his top altcoin was Polygon, a 10 out of 10. And then like all these other ones were like 9.7 and then 9.4. And I remember watching that and being like, man, he's so smart and blah, blah, blah. And it takes a long time to realize that there can be really smart people who are thinking completely different in terms of first principles. And that first principles way that you're thinking, the priorities get shuffled around as you get more immersed, and the more that you, like you were saying, you plug stuff into AI so that you can understand it. There's no longer this like the priest is the only one who can talk to God, and I'm going to listen to the priest because now everybody has a Bible type of thing. It's like we can verify stuff our own self. And I mean, almost every person that I used to listen to for advice, I've kind of thrown that away. I I'm trying to think, but like there's all these guys that I was like, man, I'll never be able to do what these guys are doing. And then the test of time happens. You see that they didn't, all of the things that they said didn't really play out. And then you get to look back 2020 and go, like they were kind of guessing on a lot of stuff. And then it gets you to just start verifying first principles, fundamentals of protocols. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's all I was going to say there.
No, I love that. I love that breakdown, Odie, and that again, that just adds the conversation. It's so true, right? It's you get into, and this is with anything, not just in crypto, because I'm sure we all can relate to this, and you know exactly what Odie's talking about. What do you listen to? Like, who do you listen to? And when you come into this, there's so much information. Like, there's an algorithm within YouTube. You know, none of us probably know exactly how it works, but it's based on like whatever you research and whatever you're looking at. And I do think, you know, there's a lot of people that talk about like the doom of all this technology of, oh, it's going to take away jobs. But then there's the other side of it too, right? So it's like you have to, you know, what Moose mentioned, like we're nodes in a network. You're a node in your life, right? So like the more you're willing to do the proof of work for yourself and verify things for yourself, then you do, you know, like you're in it long enough, like Odie talked about, like you're in it long enough. A lot of the things people say don't fucking pan out. So it's just like you got to make the best decisions from yourself from first principles, you know. So what is that? What's at your foundation? You know, what's important to you? You know, what do you really value? You know, and for all of us, it may be different things, but I think what we do have in common is truth at its foundation, right? Verifiable truth where I don't have to, I verified this. I don't care what you tell me, you know, love for each and every single one of you, but I don't care what your opinion is. Like I need to go verify this for myself. So yeah, I think that speaks to all of us. And one of the things that really I love about this community and about like the people that are up here speaking, and even those of you that haven't shared yet and don't like maybe don't know where your place is in the protocol, is just like, you know, like Bishop mentioned earlier, coming up and asking a question, type in a question, you know.
Yeah.
That's participating. That's participating. That's that, you know, like just get on your journey.
Yeah,
Get on your journey. And
the YouTube chat and the X chat from the live stream comes right to the production over here, and all the comments on the spaces, you know, Juan can pull up and put them up there too. We could talk about everything. And you know, like Odie said, you know, these influencers who have their perspective. I've mentioned this a few times on here, and it's something that I'll take with me as something that I said first. Kaspa will be the place where when crypto fails for you, you come find Kaspa. Whatever you're into crypto for, when that fails for you, you end up over at Kaspa, whatever that looks like. The only thing it hasn't done yet is attracted more miners. You know, some miners who were early on Kaspa, you know, backed off because it wasn't as profitable. But when you do look at profitability down the line, long term, Kaspa miners cost you about $200. It costs you a tenth of what it costs to run a Bitcoin miner. So it's tenth the price and costs you a tenth to run. So your barrier of entry to be able to mine a cryptocurrency is definitely elevated with Kaspa. Look, I have 2 miners that I got from Kasmart. I haven't turned them on yet because my fiat situation isn't strong enough to raise my electric bill. That's just truth. I will. And if I can cover the cost in fiat of my electric bill by turning them on, I absolutely will. I just got to get there. And when I do, I will, and I'll feel better about it. But other than that, most of the things that people have failed for in crypto, that's why we're here. That's the beginning of most of our conversations is, early on, not these today specifically, but when new people pop in, the guy that you, forgive me for not remembering his name. He came on the show and then you guys did the thing on Saturday a couple weeks ago.
Zach.
Yeah.
The one that,
yeah, he's like, hey, this Kaspa thing's pretty cool. I'm seeing, not that he said it this way, but the way he was speaking is like, hey, some of these things that failed in Bitcoin, Kaspa's succeeding at. I think that's why I'm intrigued by Kaspa. That's the general nature of those conversations, and it's happened with others. So,
yeah. No, again, these are technologies. They're nouns of ideas. We'll keep repeating that. It's just like the show is called Live on the Kaspa Standard, but we are coming from first principles for ourselves and what we've verified for ourselves, and at the same time, I've said it, and I know Bishop's there too. Like, we're not attached to like a specific outcome, right? We're going to navigate this and just I know for me, for myself, and everything that I've done, I've been able to relate it to like everyday people, where it's like, okay, like, why should I do this? Why should I? And it's why I've put, close to 100 people on wallets, right? It's not about like this making you rich, right? And there's a small little percentage of people that are looking at it that way because, like, there's a lot of people out there in the system being like, how do I make it? It's hard for people. So when you realize like, hey, you as long as you got what you need and you can like navigate this for yourself, that's why I'm a big call for, leaders within families to like lead, because not everybody, these rooms, like we're the 20% of the 20% that like produce, right? Did I say that right?
Something
80,
like that.
The 80-20 rule. Yeah, something like that, right? You know what I'm saying. So it's like, yeah, we don't want to stay in our echo chambers. Some of us are obviously better than doing that than others, but like practice with talking to your family about it and then like getting your brother, sister, mother, father on wallets, right? I've shared it several times. Like, everybody in my family has Kaspa. Like, we're all operating from that, and yeah, man, it's a beautiful thing. We have hold on, we got somebody else requesting.
Yeah, so we got a request there.
Pragma. Okay, I think he put in a question too. Pragma, what's up? Welcome to the stage.
Yes, hello.
How you doing? Nice to meet you.
No,
All right,
nice
welcome
to.
to the show.
Okay, this is the first time I'm speaking. Moose knows me.
Good to hear your voice, man.
Yeah,
Take your time.
I've known him for a while.
As you are.
Yeah, and I just had a couple of questions. My main concern about Kaspa is how it can embody the ethos of Bitcoin. By this, I mean the general ethics and values under crypto. You said previously that we've come from very different places. Some of us come from, Bitcoin itself, Ethereum, XRP even, but at the end, we've settled on Kaspa. And I think there's a profound reason why. And it has to do with what Kaspa has become to crypto. I think that, honestly, there's no other project that can bear the torch of Bitcoin as well as Kaspa does. I recently wrote an article on my Substack about how Kaspa is a part of a Promethean revolt, how by enabling freedom, it has an implicit, an inherent ethos. You have to value freedom at its highest to use Kaspa to its full potential. That's a problem I have with Moose. I don't think that people's greed and sloth and need for buying services or purchasing or even becoming rich, I don't think that will make Kaspa a world protocol and overcome Bitcoin as a worthy successor. I don't think that's the case. I think that for that to happen, we need to define what constitutes a free individual. Because once we do that, we can see how Kaspa can be used to give more power to the individual. I think that's my main problem with Kaspa. And I think this is the most important thing since Bitcoin. I mean, it's lost. It's ossified, completely ossified. You can't build anything on Bitcoin. It's just collateral for banks, and I think it's a perversion of what Bitcoin was, and it can no longer be. It can no longer help humanity move forward. And I think that Kaspa is the last option we have.
Yeah, I love it. You said a lot there that I could comment on it, but I see Odie, you have your hand up. You want to chime in?
Yeah, he kind of answered his own question, and I was gonna say something, but I love what you say about like putting more emphasis on making self-custody cool again, or making it essential again, and all of that stuff, because Bitcoiners have really thrown it out the window. Their thing is now nobody cares about self-custody. Didn't you know? And that's their coping mechanism now, and it's been adopted by all of the top ex Bitcoin, like the Bitcoiners on Twitter. At least you hear them in their little sessions, and I'll just say sessions. They're space sessions, and they've thrown it out the window. And the capability for somebody to run their own miner, the capability for a person to make a profit all by themselves anonymously with a self-made energy source somewhere in some corner of the world, that's completely viable with a SpaceX internet connection. They can do that anywhere in the world, and they can do that. That's real sovereignty, and that's being able to utilize the globe for everything it has to offer in terms of energy, even in small ways, micro community type of things. The fact that everybody gets to custody it, there's zero compromise on that. Bitcoiners have this false outlook that just because something can do more, it sacrifices something else. And if the more that we take away that false conception that because it's spread out in a tree, it's less secure than a chain. As soon as that is demystified and gone, because it doesn't hold water at all. It's mathematically very much proven that this is the same 51% Byzantine fault tolerant system. Anyway, yeah, love it.
If I could reply to that, I mean, the problem with Bitcoin is that there is no longer any discussion about what it is. I mean, it's it's been reduced to digital gold, and this is something I don't like about this digital silver discourse around Kaspa, because I think that it constrains what a technology can be, and at the core of a technology, I mean, I don't want to talk about this too deep, but at the core of a technology, there's no such difference among a hammer or Kaspa, in the sense that the way we see them as use or as a phenomenon is the same. I mean, to constrain the usage of Bitcoin to digital gold, it relegates it to just a collateral for a bank, in a spreadsheet. And that's something I don't particularly like about Kaspa, about that discourse around Kaspa.
Right.
Kaspa enables the individual to such an extent that it can be free from a state, it can be free from any law, but to have an order and to be able to harness all this power, we need to have a common vision and a set of values and ethos that not only protects the individual, but also allows us to build something greater. That's my main point.
So
I have to respond to this because
real quick,
this is
Odie,
okay.
Because I have something. I believe you're absolutely correct, but I also don't think it has to necessarily be a unified vision, because the protocol is being built to secure those instances, and it actually is being built in a way that's going to prevent it from being store of value, because you're going to need to use it to use what's being built. And since Bitcoin ossified, you can't build shit on it. The reason why I'm in Kaspa is because you can't do shit with Bitcoin. What am I do with it? I grabbed it. Okay, what do I do with it now? Can't do shit. But Kaspa is becoming, in turn, because we're early, it's not there yet, right? When these things are released and built, you can't use them without using Kaspa, right? You can use Lightning Network without using Bitcoin, right? But you can't use these things coming up in Kaspa without using Kaspa. And that's going to be the biggest difference. Kaspa is actually building itself to be a terrible store of value, because you're going to have to use it when you have it. Of course, you can keep it and not use it, but the fun in the tech and the truth and the sovereignty that's going to exist is you're going to want to use it so you can stay sovereign. Go ahead.
But over the and I just want to comment, but over the long term, like you're saying, maybe initially as a store of value, right? Because it does need to be used.
Sure.
But essentially, we want our store of value, unit of account, we want that all to be the same thing, right? Like if gold was digital and had been doing what these technologies could do, gold would still be like what backs everything, right? But that's a whole nother story in itself. So yeah, I love this conversation. I love where this is going, because we got a lot of smart people in the room. But yeah, I'm with Bishop on like this, like Kaspa is an evolution of solving problems that some people just like steered away from. So yeah, I'm with what Pragma's saying, where the narrative around like even just saying Kaspa is a silver or a complement, it's like, no, the people are going to move to a protocol as long as the truth is being spoken and we speak to what it is. Maybe it's a small percentage of people now, and that is an advantage to the people that are in the community now. But over time, humans naturally move to what is cheaper, easier, and just makes sense. Like most people, like again, to speak on that narrative where, people don't give a shit about sovereignty. That is a man-made narrative by influencers, by people that understand where Bitcoin is and like are protecting their investments, right? But there's a whole different breed in this Kaspa thing of people that evolved past that. Because a lot of us, I've had Bitcoin since 2017. I know people in Kaspa that had it in 2013. Rory's been around since the beginning of time, from the KII. So it's like there are a lot of us that aren't going to take that shit, and it's going to take the energy of that to continue to evolve this. But we're just lucky that we're in the beginning of it, and we got to just keep speaking truth, man, and the truth rises to the top.
And
go ahead, Odie.
Yeah, Odie, once you're done, Yusuf, hop right in once
Yes.
Odie's done.
Sorry to say it, Bishop, but I have to disagree with you on this particular point. I wouldn't be in Kaspa if it wasn't the highest likelihood of having the most. If it didn't have the highest likelihood of having the most price go up potential.
Okay.
And
fair.
and the reason it has the most price go up potential is because these digital gold and digital silver narratives do not work. They don't make sense at all because crypto is not a metal. A metal is something that cannot be destroyed because they inherently have the qualities of durability. But a proof of work protocol only has durability if miners are being paid. That loses all of its durability and it vanishes into absolute dust of nothingness unless that happens. So when you look at what Bitcoin is, which is over the course of the next 10 years, and you watch the way it has no real way of maintaining its security budget, you watch its gold-like properties completely vanish. So instead of what's the highest gold-like property is what Kaspa offers, which is the most usage possible by the most amount of people, because it has and you know what, if you don't have to spend your Kaspa, it's going to be the perfect store of value because it's also the perfect utility. They have to be married. These two things need to be married, or else the network does not work. It needs to be a perfect marriage, and you know what? That's what makes it the perfect store of value, is when people around the globe, it's built into every service, and they don't even know that they're using it, and they're all contributing these tiny fees, and it's so effortless to use it that these fees just build up, and the miners are getting paid, and there's no pain point. There's no one person paying $500 per transaction, which is what Bitcoin is going to need to have in 2036 if its price is about $500,000.
Admittedly, yes.
Yeah,
they're speaking openly about that now.
So this I kind of spearheaded this whole thing of like, we're not calling I think like 7 months ago, when I started putting out the security budget stuff, I was like, we cannot call Kaspa a medium of exchange because it doesn't make sense. Like, and Bitcoin digital gold, because these two things, you have to be silver and gold at the same time. That's just how that's how proof of work systems work. You have to have large friction being volume of transactions happening organically because people find it useful. Anyway, Bitcoin is not showing any of that. It's all ETFs. Nobody touches the main chain. And if that trend continues, Bitcoin is doomed. End of story. Okay, that's all I'm going to say.
No, for sure. But Bitcoin passed the moment in which you said Kaspa needs to get to, right? And Kaspa, when it gets there, to Pragma's point, needs to stay there. It needs to stay within medium of exchange and store of value. So you're right. It does need to exist in all those spaces at once. And that's honestly most likely all going to happen at the same time. Looks like we got a teacher back. Yusuf, go ahead, brother.
Hello, hi guys. The best argument that we have had against Kaspa is that Bitcoin is saying that sovereignty doesn't matter. But that's because Bitcoin is best used as a third party, where Kaspa is best used as being self-sovereign. And self-sovereignty makes the layer one survive. So their best argument is not even like something fundamentally.
No, that's brilliant. That's why I'm excited for Odie's Frost card. I think that's going to be a major help and utility for base layer usage and sovereignty at the same time.
Yeah, and speaking of what, to hop on what Odie's saying too, and Yusuf, and the common theme here, it's like, Odie said like 7 months ago, it's like, yeah, it's not, because there was a narrative around Kaspa just being digital, Kaspa is Aramaic for silver, but not in the literal sense. It was meant more, and I've heard Jonathan speak on this. Kaspa Silver has also done, Victor Rest has done a great job on this too. It's about the usage, about it also, like Odie's talking about, it mirroring gold's properties, right? So, Bitcoin had to shift their narrative because it ossified, and that's okay, right? But that gave the opportunity of something like Kaspa to show itself and be what it is. And I do feel that and think that that is part of, our responsibilities for those of us that understand this at its depth, to say like, no, it can be your store of value, medium of exchange, unit of account, and you can build shit on top of it too, by the way. Just take a look at this and go, by the way, be a node and go verify this for yourself. Don't take my word for it. So that was a narrative with Bitcoin. If you go back and study this shit way back in the day, that's how they talked about Bitcoin. That shifted now, started in the 2020s, and when it went to the digital gold narrative and the infighting on that, that's why we all moved our time and energy and shifted to this, because we see shit for what it is. Like, each one of us has verified that for ossified. So, I agree with you what you just said too, Yusuf. It's like one of the best things that for Kaspa is like it ossified, and it isn't talking about like it has to try to scale in layers. And over here you can, sovereignty is important to you. That's a part of it. You can have it as a service with Kaspa. So
So many topics tonight. I think Kaspa becomes more gold-like when Toccata comes alive, because then UTXOs become malleable and gold is malleable. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just something I thought about when we talked about gold and silver. I've been thinking a lot about them, but that was just something I thought about right now.
Yeah, beautiful. Love it, man. Yeah, great to have you on here. I don't think we've had you on the show, brother. So great to see you. I like you were in a space that I jumped into for a second. Yeah, I saw you battling some Bitcoiners, and I got in there, and that was fun. I was only in there for like 10 minutes, so I think that's the last time I saw you.
Can I put one? I'll tag onto that. The Toccata upgrade. If you're an entrepreneur in any sense, you have an opportunity with Toccata to create so many platforms which are free right now. And when they get network effect and people don't want to move off of them, you can move maybe into a fee type of thing where the service costs 0.1 or 0.2% of a fee. Kaspa does so many things with Toccata, it's that can replace, in a very interesting way, almost combine different services like Fiverr and all these different things, and you can make it free. So think of it from the fact that there's a big opportunity for builders with Toccata to put out these things and create a network effect. And then, like, if you're an entrepreneur, go for it.
Ooh, love that. Yeah, I gotta dig in deeper.
Can I add something about what truth is?
Please.
Because I hear you talking about truth, and I would like to point out and set the difference between two kinds of truth. And the first one is it's veritas, as in verifying, from the Latin veritas, and this has a relationship with correspondence. And what this implies is that there is an objectified reality out there, and we can and we should come closer to representing it with our theories and schemas. But what I am more concerned about is the word truth in Greek means aletheia. Aletheia means unconcealment. In this sense, we can understand. I think we can understand Kaspa better because as a bleeding edge technology, there is nothing like it. It doesn't come close. Neither Bitcoin nor Ethereum nor anything we could have imagined. And trying to set Kaspa as a kind of reflection of a world, I don't think you can do that. I think that we need to understand it as a very powerful and technology. And technology has, as techne in Greek means craft, means creating. And this has the underlying word poiesis, as in poetry. And poetry for the Greeks was the first craft. Prometheus gave man the craft and technology. And when we look at Kaspa from this point, we can understand that it is the most powerful poetic expression of our desire for freedom. And we need, and any narrative around Kaspa that tries to encompass it and constrain it, that doesn't understand this, that it is an emanation of our desire to be free, we never come close to it. And sadly, it is the only option we have left. I mean, Bitcoin is, we can't use Bitcoin and to be free. And that's the sad state of affairs. But I'm glad that Kaspa is there for, as a last bullet.
I agree.
Well said by a poet. Yeah, who's clapping? Hold on, we got it. Seriously, mic drop. Can we drop a mic? That was beautifully said.
Yeah.
And I just went ahead and followed you, by the way, Pragma, because I'm first time meeting you, but beautifully put. And I wrote some of the words down here, like poet. I mean, poetry being a technology, and I think Bishop and I have had conversations around like words being a technology. We have this thing where we say the root of the word. We haven't said the word in a long time, but we say buenos dias because that means good day, right? And yeah, just being aware of the words and the way you speak things into existence. So well put by Pragma, who is a poet, and follow him, man. That was beautifully said, man. Loved it.
Yeah, and much appreciated him coming on today.
Pragma is kind of the deepest thinker of us all.
That's why he's resonating with me, man. I loved it. He went beneath. We just got some beneath the surface stuff.
Sure did.
That's what we just got.
That was it was extremely cypherpunk and in a poem.
Yes. That was and I see the KII. By the way, I think that the KII, Rory shared with me that the team listens to us, and he told me he misses the Beneath the Surface show, so he hopped in right for that take. So that was good, man. It gave me it's cold over here, but I got chills from that, Pragma. That was well said, man.
Beautiful.
I couldn't nothing else to add to that, but
we have 2 more requests to speak, bro. Show's on fire right now.
Okay. Oh, we got Kaspa teacher trying to get up. All right, let me go ahead.
Oh, his Twitter's all rugged today, huh? Up and down.
Yeah, so it was Pragma coming back up, and then we got Kaspa teacher.
All right, cool. But man, I love it. It's a great call today to make sure we pulled to the audience. We got to meet people where they're at, right? Last week we asked them to meet us where we're at. And you went out and grabbed them today. We met them where they're at, I didn't. No, everyone came up. Oh, shit.
But listen, I told Bishop, I'm like, no one requesting. I typically I'll hit a couple people and whatever. Last week was last week. but I'm like, this week I'm gonna hit Odie up. I don't I'm gonna hit some if people don't come up and talk to us, because I love talking to you guys. But for some reason last week nobody wanted to talk to us. Our feelings weren't hurt. We're good. We're here.
Yeah, no,
we're here now. That's all that matters.
We didn't take it personally at all. No.
Nah,
I had a failure of a day when I was working on projects, and I was like, I have nothing good to say. And today I had more success. So.
There we go.
No,
works
talk about
out
the
way it's supposed
failures.
to work.
Talk about the failures, man. We can help suss this out. You know, we can get you there, figure out what's going on. Actually, I just saw the tweet. Frostcard is debuting June 30.
Honestly, I put that out as a date in an Elon Musk type of sense, how he always says. I did that to push myself to push the project faster, and I do feel like I will have. I feel like I will have it done by then, and the important part is the audits and being able to the whole auditing trail. So it's going to be, I'm going to be going for the smallest type of auditors, not these ones that cost $1 million. I'm going to be looking for the smaller companies that do it with AI. And I'm going to try to get as many of them to do it as possible, and pay them accordingly with shares and money and stuff like that. And then after this happens, it's going to be a slow type of push to the market where people are using the cards, but still being like, we're going to take it slow on the first couple months. It'll be like, this is a, well, it's not even a beta, but it's, it's an open source project. So the most important thing is like that people are actively going at it and trying to break it. I think after 4 or 5 audits, with, I don't know if you guys have heard about the most recent Claude that came out. It's called Mythos, and it has this ability to find bugs in systems that they've already said were perfect. And this is something that they just put out. So I'm finding that my approach is going to be finding guys who are pretty good at auditing, but the guys who are more using AI and they're doing it themselves, and then finding people who see the potential in the project as well, and going super hard, everything being very transparent all the way through, where it's, if there is a bug, we explain, all of the audits being transparent, at least. And I might as well describe how this project's going to work. It's when you buy Frost cards, these are going to be the types of cards that you can buy yourself. You don't necessarily have to buy it from this company. It's going to be something that's open from the factory. And when we ship the Frost cards, we're going to be shipping it with a NFC writer, because what's the whole purpose of this is your sovereignty. So when you get the Frost cards, it's going to be basically a manufactured card, but it's going to be a licensed or authorized dealer of these cards, which is a J3R 200 or 180 actually. But these are very high level chips, which are EAL 6+ safety rating. And then basically you're going to have the ability to go on GitHub. You click a thing which basically installs the brain to the card. So this is something that you don't do with Tangem. You don't do it with all the other ones. You have to trust the brain on the card. There's no way to validate that what's on that card. So what's going to happen with Frost card is every part of it is a reproducible build, which means that you're going to have the ability to create the flasher. The flasher is something that makes the brain on the card, and the brain on the card is called an applet. And then you will have the ability to reproducibly build the app as well. So then at that point, you can, you have kind of full sovereignty on that. And then when you tap your card on the applet, or sorry, on the app, it's going to be kind of similar to Tangem, only right off the bat, it's going to ask for your backup address, which if you lose these cards, like as soon as you put your money into FrostCard, it's going to be inside of a covenant immediately. And it's going to have basically the features of, if you lose your cards after 6 months of inactivity, you'll be able to trigger something where it goes to that backup address. And then the second part is it'll have whitelists that you have to create right off the bat. And it's another cool feature is if you want to change that whitelist, you can change the whitelist. So that really helps, because if you have a permanent whitelist and you get stuck with it, and then somehow that whitelist, those wallets get corrupted, you're screwed. So it has a feature where if you want to change your whitelist, it'll take about either 7 days or 2 weeks. I haven't really decided, but you'll change the whitelist address. And then for 2 weeks, it's like a waiting period. And in that waiting period, you can cancel it. So let's say somebody steals your card and they have the password. Well, they're going to want to send Kaspa to their own address. So the first thing they're going to do is try to add a whitelist. But you holding your other cards, if you can check on the block or the block DAG, and there will be a specific indexer which shows you if somebody has tried to add a whitelist. So you'll be able to see it and cancel it if you were to lose a card to somebody who, has your password. So it's very much designed to just it's very much designed for a store of value type of purpose. And then there's the freeze. Everybody knows what freeze is. You time lock. This is permanent though. Like once you freeze it, you can't unfreeze it. So you can choose 1 day or you can choose 2 years. I'm going to put a max of 2 years on the app, but as soon as you freeze your Kaspa, you have to wait 2 years, and or a month or whatever. And then after that point of the freeze, if you've maybe lost your cards, let's say during that period, then after 6 months, you'll have that ability. It'll move right to your backup address. So there's a lot of redundancy and interesting stuff built into it. So pretty excited.
If you froze half of it and you decide to use whatever, your wallet will stay active for that 2-year period, unfreeze the other half, and then you're good to go. But if you just so happen to freeze, half of it and then you're locked out or whatever, then all the 100% of it would then remit to you after the 6 months of inactivity?
I've decided to go with, I was going to have multiple vaults, and then I've decided that it's so much better for users just to have, I was adding like which percentage of your Kaspa would you like to freeze? And I kind of decided against it, that if you want to freeze all of your Kaspa on this particular wallet for 2 months, you can do that and then have a whitelist address. I mean, like, if you don't want to freeze your Kaspa, don't put it on that covenant. So it's still slightly up in the air of like the ability to freeze half of it. I'm still deciding on that because yeah.
How does that weigh against the inactivity rule then? So if the inactivity is shorter than the time in which you want to freeze it, then
oh yeah. So the inactivity starts as soon as the freeze unfreezes. So like, let's say you choose 2 years.
So the freeze overrules the inactivity.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So it can't be, you can't shuffle over. It would be kind of like backwards if you could, it's called inheritance, by the way. So whenever I'm talking with whenever I'm trying to, I like the name of inheritance rather than backup wallet. But yeah, so, but whenever it, if it's the last UTXO basically. So yeah, and it does get triggered as soon as your freeze ends. Yeah.
Awesome. That's cool.
Yep.
There's a lot of security and sovereignty in that explanation. I am incredibly excited for it. Again, I credit to Kara. Shouts to Kara. She's the one that made me realize that I was looking for sovereignty. But the more I hear the capabilities of what crypto is capable of, then I hear what Kaspa is actually doing. And I go, this is where I need to be. So I can secure, I mean, you guys, again, I explained my 401k journey, how it took me like 3 months to get the money. They told me it's mine. Like finding these new ways to, and again, I'll be the first one to admit it. I was wrong earlier about saying Kaspa and store value no go, right? Because right now that's exactly what you're talking about. You have an opportunity within this Frost card to create a store of value that you can feel confident that when you're unfreezing, you are in a good space. You know, you take this, you make it store of value, you now lock that up and you go, okay, whatever you need to do in the meantime, whether you got to earn more fiat or you got to move to the next direction, you're at least securing your future by freezing this, but you're doing it in a space where you're protected by the covenants. So when it's unfrozen and you still don't have the time, or you lose the card, oh, where's my shika? I mean, again, shouts to Bert. The same thing happened in a Frost card. What's he looking at? He's looking at patience now, immediate patience, no more panic. Yeah. And he's going, okay, I messed this particular thing up, but in worst case scenario, that's coming back to me in 6 months. Like,
yeah, that's why.
Yeah,
and
it's beautiful.
Odie was
you built
speaking on
something
that.
Brilliant, dude. Great job.
Yeah, dude. Like, it's like the perfect person to build something like this out, because that's what I hear in how he's explaining how he's putting it all together, right? And you brought up Bert. We brought him up earlier in the show, and you know, if you've been following, you see what Bert had to go through, and just making sure that, you know, that he stayed open like to that. And Odie was the one. I saw Odie was talking about this in a chat. He was like, "Oh, what about this? This is, you know." So yeah, beautiful things there. But yeah, Bishop, you're speaking to it, and what Odie's building, and then you know what Pragma said earlier, I thought was beautiful, right? It's like we're having that conversation around what freedom looks like, right? A lot of people have given up hope for that, because most, you know, let's just be real, most people know about Bitcoin because it's number one and it's what, you know, people run to, and it's like now a pretty brand, you know, people are aware of it, right? And we're getting an opportunity with what Kaspa is, and the more and more we talk like this, bro, the more and more we put this energy out there, the more it's going to spread. You know, it's just that's just what it is. So keep building, Odie. That's beautiful, man. I can't wait to see what happens with the Frost card, and with a lot of other things that are coming out, man. But it's about sovereignty, right, Bishop? It is about that.
1000%.
It's about that freedom. It's about speaking to that. People, you know, again, I'll speak to them because we've mentioned it on the show. There's a narrative like people don't care about that. And it's, no, we're going to shift that. It's like, no, people don't know what it really is. So we got to speak to that. And it's available here. It's available here.
You're talking sovereignty with that level of security, because again, you had sovereignty in cold storage on Tangem, and we watched what happened with Bert. You know, I'm blown away, Odie. Fantastic job. Go ahead, Pragma.
Oh yeah.
If I could add one last thing, you talk about how we can teach people to value freedom. And in this sense, I don't think that facts do anything. I mean, if you could tell someone that to value their freedom, their power to work in the world, but that's not how you can convey that. And the reason, I mean, if I could talk about this, I recently made a post on my Substack about Kaspa's Promethean revolt. And the reason we have to take myths and symbols and use them to convey things is because that's the arts and history of a people are what can enable reality, what is possible. And the reason Prometheus is so important is because as the creator of mankind and fire bringer and freedom fighter of humanity, it is only under that myth that we can assert our freedom and that we can emulate and use that myth to give us power. And Prometheus is one of them, but there are many others, like Epimetheus, his full brother, or Pandora, the wife of Epimetheus, that opened the box and brought evil into the world. And at the bottom of the box, there was hope. So by using myths and creating stories, we can, for those that are willing, most people are not willing to be free. For those that are willing, we can put up a standard, a fire, so that they can come and they can be free. So that's the last thing I wanted to say. If I can, I will put on the comments the post in case you want to read it.
Put it up there.
I think it's nice.
Yeah. No. I mean, listen, you are speaking my language. Like there's an energy too, in just the way you're communicating this, because it's like what I hear is I agree with you with where you say, hey, that just, there isn't like this. I don't really necessarily believe in just telling someone like, hey, this is it. It's you kind of embody it, you show it, you live it, you're in that energy, but it is up to people to see it for themselves. And I love these. I love that you're bringing up Prometheus. You brought up Emperor. So these just the way you're relating it to these discoveries, right? Like Kaspa, to me, I do look at it like it's a discovery.
Yes. It is. I want to come back to what I said previously about truth being unconcealment, being aletheia. And this is extremely important because as techne, as a mode of poetry, poiesis, we can have a free relation with the new. And by the new, I mean that we can pull out of chaos. I mean, reality, there's no order in reality.
Yeah.
Heraclitus said, I have the quote here, I think, the most beautiful order in the cosmos is that of a heap of sweepings piled up at random. And Kaspa embodies this. And it is the only technology I see now that, alongside AI, that embodies this. And by unconcealing our desire to be free, we created Kaspa. That's the power. And having Prometheus as the patron of not only humanity but also of Kaspa takes it to the next level. That I think it's required for Kaspa to be a world-changing, world-defining technology. That's my main point.
That's layers right there, Bishop. That's going in right there. That's beneath the surface, man. Absolutely. That really is.
Absolutely. No, there's a reason why mythology exists and people are tethered to the tales of the past. There was we speak about it offline a bit when we try to again garner perspective. I for one believe that we are, and people say this, the most connected and disconnected we've ever been, right? And my biggest, where I see as humans that we have completely failed is that we evolved so strong that we eliminated all adversities and create our own, right? We have houses, we have weapons, we are free of environment. We create our own environments and then we destroy our environments, right?
Yeah, it's all us. It's all us.
What we've done is we've got and these stories and tales and myths that Pragma is bringing up are from a time in which most of that was in its infancy, right? Most of our adversity protection was in its infancy. So the idea of whys and whats and hows were so tethered to the environment around us, sun gods and otherwise, right? They're the constant connection to Earth through myth, but then shapes perspective. And as life is, it's cyclical. When seeing the birth of what these technologies are, to relate them to mythological beginnings, it just adds up, because in truth, it's rooted in who we are as original human, is looking through that myth of what's going to guide us. Somewhere we lost our way by just protecting ourselves to everyone on the outside. There are people who love air conditioning and heating so much they don't open a window. Just over the last couple of years, two of the most popular words on the internet is touch grass, right? You've heard that around the touch grass, because people don't get outside. They don't connect. They don't.
Yeah, the majority.
It's tough.
Yeah, so to me,
I absolutely agree, bro. I absolutely agree.
Yeah, no, I love what Pragma's bringing in, because it's absolutely resonating with me. And okay, so going back to like how you talked about, oh, I'm living a level 10, right, and kind of our connection. And I just think all of this in this conversation specifically today is speaking to this. It's like these technologies emerge because we discover them, and I see it as like the universe putting out these solutions to the problems that we've created as humanity, right? So the universe, the world, like, it's such a beautiful mystery and this beautiful poetry that when you find the peace from, I've talked about this, right? The peace from within, these are all reflections of how you can navigate your life. And a big component of that is what Pragma's talking about like, do we, you say you want freedom, but like, do you even understand what that is? Like, are you willing to go there? And are you willing to face like the constraints that you've put on yourself, right? To really, really experience that. And that's why, I love poets like Pragma, because they bring a lot of the signals that we've had earlier. That's what, Prometheus and, everyone that he's talking about, that's what they brought to us. Like all this is an evolution, and we keep getting all these opportunities to really bring us together. And that's what Kaspa to me is at its foundation. I talk about this from a very spiritual, energetic standpoint. So I think it's beautiful that we're going here in the conversation, man. This is great.
It's the
If I could,
It's the most Wednesday night this show has been.
This is 100%.
Yeah. Go ahead, Pragma. Yeah.
if I could quickly respond to that, because I have to go shortly. I don't think that that a struggle against environment is done, has ended. I don't think it will ever end. I think it's inherent to man and to the cosmos, in the sense that, well, you now have a certain standard of living, certain commodities that make your life easier, but the underlying cosmos, it's still chaos. It's still a mess, and it will never be there. There will never be order, in the sense that there's a past, or that we can go back, or a nature that we can go back and be, in harmony with it. There's no such thing. I think that there's no such thing. I think that the cosmos being chaos is what enables true tragedy and true creation. I mean, in what kind of world does Kaspa or any such technology come about? It only can come about in a world where we are free, and in a world and a free world is one which is chaos, inherently chaos. And I think this is important because we can then understand what Kaspa is and what its limits are, and how we can protect it. And we can protect it by creating a common ethos. And by this, I mean the value of the individual to be free to create. I think that's the most important thing. And I think that's what I'm getting at with my post, which I will create many more about this, because I think that's a good job to have. But anyways, I had a great time being here discussing this. I have to go shortly, but keep it up, and I will hop on the next one if I have the time to spare.
Beautiful. Yeah, we're going to be here most Mondays. So yeah, we appreciate. Nice meeting you. Like I said, I gave you a follow there. So I love his the way he laid it out, man. That was great.
Well, I tell you,
nice to hear your voice.
Yeah.
And look, we're probably going to wrap it up too. So if anybody else wants to hop up and say something real quick, we can give you guys another 5-10 minutes. But one thing I do want to tag on to what Pragma said. I correct. The battle against the environment is ongoing, and the duality that needs to exist. By all means, we enjoy. I spoke about my emotional adversity at the beginning of the show. And without the great times, I wouldn't be feeling so bad right now. So I also would like to say, though, when it comes to the battle of the environment and what humans are doing to insulate themselves from these adversities, the truth in the battle of the environment is to touch it, is to harness it, is to immerse yourself in it and stop sheltering yourself from the adversities. It's the battles through them that truly help you understand what's going on. It's why we're sitting in Kaspa with the truth of conversation, because the more we fight against what the environment's actually presenting to us, the less we get done, the less we figure it out, the less hardened we do to take the next step. So I refuse to fight the environment anymore. We have to sit in present and understand what this adversity is, and not how do we fix it, but how do we see it? How do we see it, and what is the importance? If you put a jacket on every time it gets cold, you're going to have a lot of jackets on. You're never going to get used to the cold.
Yeah, so I hear you speaking to, like, a big part of this is sitting in it, right? It's like I see a lot of us as that. We're seeing it early. Obviously, a lot of builders, developers, the beautiful dev team. I see we've had like coder stuff in here for quite some time. A lot of these people that I'm really grateful for that are just in it, developing, building. And now, I've said this several times throughout the weeks, but it's like now's the time to bring what you can bring to this protocol in whatever capacity that is. So asking the questions, having it try to make sense. And what Bishop is speaking to is a big place that I've been in my life for a long time. It's like I don't battle with those parts of me. I get perspective and I face it and I look at it and I'm like, what is this trying to tell me? What is it trying to show me? Like, not why is this happening, but why is this happening for me? What's the lesson here? So the more and more we can do that, the more and more we can step into, being a space for, like Pragmas talked about, having people see this and just come. They will come. Like they see the, like he brought up Prometheus, like discovered fire. And people are going to come, be like, what's this? They're going to be afraid of it, be like, oh no, I don't know what that is at first. That's what we're getting with the infighting and all that bullshit. Right. But when you light the flame big enough, like people are going to come and on their time, because I don't believe in convincing and having to sell somebody or any of that shit. It's like, no, let me speak on what I'm experiencing. Where are you at? Okay, cool. This is what I see. Or why do you see it that way? All right, cool. This is what I see. And I think, that's why the tagline at the end of the show, I'll say it. that's why that to me resonates at the core of what the mission is here for us. So hell yeah, man, this was a beautiful one.
Hell of a show, man. What an episode. I can't thank everyone enough. Let's shout out Damien real quick. I just saw him pop up in the spaces. Damien's a huge supporter over on Vivor. We mentioned at the beginning of the show that Vivor is taking a leave of absence from the production space in the Kaspa community, and they're ready to come back when they have the ability to come back. But until then, the Vivor side's gonna be down. So shouts to Damien. He's tipped us a bunch in there, and it truly appreciate that. Oh yeah,
appreciate that, Damien.
Yeah, Damien's the man. So, but yeah, I mean, look, hey, if that's all we got for requests to speak, then you know, we can duck out for the day.
I'm lit, bro. I'm lit.
Yeah.
Like, almost 3 hours in.
Yeah,
we had
2
people
hours
come up to the panel.
2 hours last week took it out of you. Right now, we're almost at 3
like,
in, and you're lit up.
Because I'm like, we were talking. It was just you and
energy
I.
exchange. Energy exchange.
It's definitely a beautiful conversation when we have people come up. So we appreciate each and all of you, you know, for coming up and taking the time and dancing with us in the conversation. That's what I call it. So it means a lot.
Even those like Rory and the KII and Rosario, when they hop in here, or Damien. I just talked about Damien for 30 seconds. Like, just hopping in here helps us. That's part of the energy exchange. Yeah, thinking about what Damien's done on Vivor to tip us, like that feels great. Are you kidding me? Again, all the inspiration from Rosario and the pictures he sent last week, right? It was either last week or the week before. Rosario didn't have a chance to talk, but we're looking at pictures, right? You know, and it's things like that where we can you know, we can really enjoy the community. So yeah, thank you to everyone who's stepped up today. This has been episode 26 of Live on the Kaspa Standard. That's right. That is 6 months of episodes, which I believe next week will be the official 6-month mark. But we are live on the Kaspa Standard. I am at LOTKS.kas. That is Juan, new handle, at Juan G. Ramos 888. The show itself lives on X at Live on the Kaspa. We're also on TikTok. Just search Live on the Kaspa Standard. Instagram at Live on the Kaspa Standard. We did the first hour of the show live on Instagram today, so give us a shout over there. Follow, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you want to support the show, you can send an energy exchange donation to LOTKS.kas or liveonthekaspastandard.kas. We also are brought to you by BetterMelts. That's getbettermelts.com. Promo code LOTKS for 50% off. As I mentioned at the beginning of the show, our Kraken link in the description. There's a $200 for you, $200 for me, that if you click the link and you sign up for Kraken, you can deposit $200, trade $200. They end up giving it to you in Bitcoin, but you can convert it into Kaspa right away because it's custodied, so it moves fast. And then you can take that Kaspa and have some fun with it. If anyone does do that, I will be taking that 200 and splitting it between me and Juan, putting it right into the show wallet. Other than that, that's the biz. Go over to youtube.com/at Live on the Kaspa Standard. Like the videos, rewatch them. That's where all the back play is. Juan, I absolutely love today's episode, and I'm pretty excited for next week. And we haven't even finished this one today.
Yes, next week, episode 27. Guys, I'm reminded, like I do every week here, Kaspa is vibrating at the frequency of truth seekers, and the truth is catching on. Be humble, be kind, give it time. Love each and every single one of you. We will see you next week on episode 27 for those of you that don't speak Espanol. See ya.
See you. Appreciate y'all.